bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Kris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hello, everybody. Welcome and happy Tuesday. It's your boy Kris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Kris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in pop culture and hot topics. So if that's a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today. Including, we have two deaths we got to speak about. One from an actor who was in Sleepaway Camp, passed away. I can't believe this when I was hearing about this story. We got some news on what Nicholas Brendon from Buffy the Vampire Slayer died from. So the autopsy's in. We got the results. Plus, we got to talk about the Met Gala. There were some outfits that I like. I do want to go through a slide of some of the clothes and things, but of course, they was going in on Jeff Bezos and his wife, aka the Joker, over how they bought their way up into the Met Gala and people protesting and a whole bunch of other stuff. So we got to get into that. Plus, we got Tony Awards snubs and surprises. Who was snubbed? Who got nominated, all that good stuff. Plus, look like after 15 years, it's coming to an end. They done canceled Love and Hip Hop. So we got to get into that. Plus, we got to talk about Blake Lively's decision to settle this Justin Baldoni situation. Because, we talked about it, breaking news yesterday. They came to an end. Like 2 weeks before they were about to go to trial, they decided to, can it. M.I.A. basically is speaking out after being crucified. She said she was crucified for what she has said at the Kid Cudi concert. So we'll get into that. Plus, we got to talk about Randy Jackson. Child, he was over there on American Idol, and they was talking about he looked like he had passed dead. So we got to get into that. Plus, Kim Zolciak is firing back after the whole temporary custody of her children was rewarded to Kroy yet again. Ronnie Ortiz-Magro from Jersey Shore is coming up with some BS ass excuse regarding why he looked like he was he was nodding off while they were doing press for Jersey Shore Family Vacation's final season. He blamed it on one thing: child, you was hiding Cudi Brown. Ain't no way in hell that was on no high depression, whatever the hell it was that he said. So we got to talk about that. Plus, I want to talk a little bit more about the whole Pussycat doll situation, where they're the latest band that was struck down with this whole situation that's going on. And I actually learned a new term that I was like, okay, well, they did say it's a new term, but I was like, I've never heard of this. But clearly, because it's new, there's something called blue dot fever that they've come up with a coin for. So that means like if you get a sense of blue dot fever, that means you about to cancel your shows. And I'll explain what that means and all the stuff when we get to that topic. Plus, Bebe Rexha is the latest um C-level pop act to go independent. And going independent might have been the best decision she ever made for her career because she got two big hits on the charts since she decided to go independent, or she was dropped by Warner Brothers because them records wasn't selling, quiet as it's kept. So we got that and a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Kris Avalon Unfiltered. We also have super chats, super stickers. You can hype the channel. You can share it with your people, all that good stuff. But of course, when you hit the like and subscribe, it definitely helps move the algorithm and all that good stuff. So please and thank you. I see we have comments already. um Onyx is in the building. Somebody tell me, yeah, and is. Shadow Girl said we love a late stream. Super late. I know. Well, you're going to state the obvious. You kept changing the times. Well, stuff was going on. Sanchez fake boobs had Bezos hypnotized. Well, clearly because it ain't the face. Lauren Sanchez got Jeff to work out. He looks like an Israeli commando. He got an alpha body, but moves like a damn dork and a beta. So I only gave a shit about Coleman Domingo, Hunter Schafer, and Rihanna. ASAP Rocky's looks. I was seeing some podcast, whatever, YouTuber, whatever, was talking about that Rihanna ASAP had an argument. I'm like, okay, well, that's between them. Unless y'all want to spill the tea and tell us what it was that they was arguing about, then I don't give I don't give um, like you said, I challenged myself to not look at anything from the Met Gala yesterday, and I succeeded. Well, We gonna be showing looks over here. Like you said, the Knicks, the Jenners, the Timothys were all turned away from the Madonna and Sabrina Carpenter official after party. Madonna told Timothy he downgraded. Well, Timothy was at the Knicks game yesterday. So how's she gonna say that the Knicks were turned away from Madonna and Sabrina's official after party? First of all, the Knicks won last night. This is the second in a row. No, they won 3 games, I believe, in a row. 4 games. No, 3 games. Because the first 2 they didn't win. And then like all the other ones leading up when they beat Atlanta. I was so happy about that. But so now they won last night, spanked Philly. And so yeah, Zendaya wasn't there. You said for her to call Kylie Jenner from the hood, that shade. Okay, well, well, look, if she want to sit and act like Steve Rebel at her little after party, then she has a right to, I guess. He said some of them wanted to go to the party. Yeah, because they got the day off today. And then they back to, the Garden tomorrow, which I will be there working that second game against Philly. So there's that. And yeah, Timothy was at the Knicks game, and so was Jimmy Fallon. We ain't seen Jimmy Fallon a month of Sundays, but I guess now that they're doing well in the playoffs, now he want to show up. But they had the usual suspects there. Spike Lee was there, I believe. Well, Ben Stiller wasn't there. He was at the Met Gala. I saw him and his wife. So he decided to do that. I'm like, you a fool. What you should have did was went to the Knicks game. Because at least you would have been a little more respected there than going to this mess over at the Met Gala, which we're going to get into when we get to that story. But before we, so without further ado, let's actually get to some of the topics and stuff. Y'all can keep the chat going and all this stuff. Oh, wait, speaking of which, speaking of chat, let me hit this. They got sent, what, she got twins? Well, I was gonna say, hopefully they don't look like her. Everybody was shocked. Kylie went by herself, but everybody, Timothy would go see the Knicks, and she knows that. That's what I said. First of all, y'all are stupid as hell. Yes, she went because her family was there. Her mother and her new face was there. Kim was there with that horrible ass wig on, and I don't know what that outfit was, but the damn show wasn't fashion is art. It didn't follow the theme. And and who else was there? Kendall Jenner was there. So yeah, the Kardashians are gonna go. But yeah, Timothy will put basketball before some stupid gala, but he'll go to the after parties. Jeff Bezos was there too, but he skipped the red carpet to go and let Lauren do all of that mess. But like I said, we'll get to that when we get to that topic. But without further ado, let me hit my banner and let's get to topic number 1. And I have some sad news because y'all know one of my favorite horror movies come out of the 80s is Sleepaway Camp. I even told you I went to go see it at the IFC Theater. I believe it was last year where they showed it on the original 35 millimeter print where they had the original director showed up. They did a Q&A. There was a lot of people that showed up, including there was a lot of trans people that was in the audience, and they seemed to love the movie because of, the twist with Angela and that whole situation. When Angela's cousin Ricky, who is Jonathan Tiersten, unfortunately passed away. We found out this morning at the age of 60. And I told you he was one of my favorite characters because his mouth in that damn movie reminded me so much of myself when I was little. Yes, when I was like 8, 9, and up, I was over here calling people all kinds of pricks and motherfuckers and all that other stuff. My mouth was nasty when I was a kid, but that was because I was hearing all that stuff growing up. So I blame, the people that made me the way I am with this mouth. That I'm a product of my environment. So don't judge me. But anyway, so according to the point, it's like, yeah, we're sad to just hear the fact that Jonathan Tiersten, best known to horror fans for his role in the original Sleepaway Camp, has passed away at the age of 60. Now, his brother made the announcement and he confirmed it to the U.S. Sun, adding that the medical examiner is investigating his death. No cause of death has not been determined. A cause of death has not been determined. So, yeah, I guess once they do the autopsy, similar to like when we talk after this about Nicholas Brendon, when we get the autopsy results and stuff, then I'll revisit this story. So Tiersten was known for his role as hot-tempered Ricky Thomas in the 1983 horror film Sleepaway Camp. The film focused on a series of killings that occurred at a summer camp for teenagers. Now, Tiersten did not immediately return for the film's 1988 sequel, but did reprise his role as Ricky Thomas in the 2008 sequel, Return to Sleepaway Camp. The actor also appeared in the film's 2012 sequel, Sleepaway Camp 4, The Survivor. Now, during his career, Tiersten continued to appear in horror films, including Terror Tales, Lake of Shadows, Last American Horror Show, Volume 2, and Time's Up, among others. Now, these are movies I ain't never heard of, but he was in them. Now, in 2012, he portrayed the role of John Dosey in the horror flick The Perfect House. The role earned him an award for Best Supporting Actor in at the Macabre Fair Film Festival, and now they said he's survived by his son. Now, also, there is I think a direct sequel to the original that's supposed to be coming out. The original director, I remember he said that there was a story that came out that they are revisiting Sleepaway Camp. They're gonna, I don't know if it's a remake, a direct sequel, whatever that it is, but we were talking about it before, and I was like, Felissa Rose wants to be in it, and I guess she said she want to play Ricky's mother. So, and I was like, that's a good situation for her. That I think it would be a great idea if she would have came on board and wanted to be a part of that and in some capacity because you can't come back as Angela. I mean, the jig would be up, but to have her in some sort of a cameo, I think would be pretty awesome. So, there was that. And I was hoping in some sort of way that we can get, in some ways, Jonathan Tiersten, if he wanted to come in and reprise his role as Ricky in this film, maybe he could have played just like the cook. Don't know. Well, the cook was actually a pedophile in the original, unless I was going to change up. Y'all could have had him come in and make a cameo as maybe one of the head counselors or whatever that was beating up on Ricky and stuff because they thought Ricky was the killer in the movie and turned out it was Angela. Spoiler alert from a movie that came out in 1983. So, yeah, so RIP Jonathan. We'll definitely be keeping abreast of this story as it develops. And yeah, when the autopsy and everything is revealed, I will revisit this story when we get to that, when we cross that bridge. So now, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story when you heard that Jonathan Tiersten, who was in Sleepaway Camp, an iconic slasher classic, had passed away. And yeah, we don't know what the results of the cause or whatever, but like I said, we'll be keeping abreast of it as it develops. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. She bought twins for child. Now her going out buying children for Jeff Bezos. Well, they buy everything else just like they bought their way into the Met Gala. I guess they could buy children from what are they refugees from like one of those down in the slums countries like Malawi or something. Tim would have come in a suit he reheated from last season. Okay. Bring Your Love is the most added track on the top 40s and Hot AC and Dance and Pride Radio, over 300 stations. Well, good for her. Madonna is doing the thing with this new song. We love to see it. All right, now let's get into our next topic. And let's talk about Nicholas Brendon. So we were all sad to hear that Nicholas Brendon, best known for playing Xander Harris for 7 seasons on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, had passed away. And so apparently, and I totally forgot about this, they did a autopsy on him, and now we officially have the results. And so let's get into said results. So, according to a May 5th report by the Putnam County Coroner's Office obtained by People, Brendan died of, and I got to take my time with it because this is a tongue twister. He died of atherosclerotic and hypertensive cardiovascular disease with acute pneumonia and previous myocardial infarction as contributing factors. Child, I could go on Grey's Anatomy now. I could pronounce crazy tongue twister. I'm kidding. Although I just heard they fired Harry Shum over there on Grey's Anatomy. And I'm like, I like Harry Shum. I liked him since he was on Glee. But anyway, let's get to this. Let's not talk about Grey's Anatomy. So excuse me. So they said that myocardial infarction as contributing factors. The mechanism of death was 90% blockage, right coronary artery. So it's like, Cole, is that in regular terms? Like he had a heart attack? Y'all could have just said that. I mean, I understand y'all got to be all medicinal with the phrasation. And I'm like, did he just have a heart attack? Like arteries was blocked and all that stuff. Now, Brendon's family revealed the actor died March 20th in his sleep of natural causes. He was 54. Now, in the report, coroner Todd Ziner basically said to law enforcement at the scene found no obvious signs of foul play and assisted me with cataloging the scene. Nothing seemed out of place or disturbed. Now, as we said before, he played the series regular role of Xander Harris opposite Sarah Michelle Gellar across Buffy the Vampire Slayer's 7 seasons on the WB and UPN. Now, after Buffy, he went on to star in Kitchen Confidential as pastry chef Seth Rickman alongside Bradley Cooper. Wasn't that based on what's that chef? Anthony Bourdain, who on a live himself, and I just saw it today. They dropped a trailer because they have a documentary coming out for Anthony Bourdain, and they have but it's called Tony. So that came out today, and so they dropped the trailer for that. So I wonder what, because I remember I did watch that show at one point, and I think they canceled it after 1 season. Like I caught a couple of episodes, and it was on Fox, so I do remember that show. Now, yeah, Bradley Cooper and Jamie King was on it. Now he later recurred on Criminal Minds, Private Practice, and Faking It. Now on the film side, he starred in the 2000s horror comedy Psycho Beach Party alongside Lauren Ambrose. Now, among other credits, included Demon Island. I saw that app. That's actually on Prime Video. That was advertised like the other day. I was looking for something to watch and I saw it was up there. So they got Demon Island, Unholy, Blood on the Highway, Big Homosexual Love. Well, they said Big Gay Love, and Coherence, among others. And they went on to say that we're heartbroken to share the passing of our brother and son, Nicholas Brendon. He passed in his sleep of natural causes. So now we know what the cause is. And they basically talk about his passion for painting and art and all that other stuff. Now, they also, and he had his issues or whatever the case was, but and he struggled a bit, but it's good to know that, you know what, if there's one way to go out, child, I'd rather go out in my sleep than in some sort of crazy violent way, like in a car accident or unalive by at the hands of some psychopath or whatever. Like I would rather just go out and blaze of glory, meaning while I go to sleep and just don't wake the fuck up. Like I'd rather just y'all do that. Or I do that. But I know we don't have control over how we leave the earth. So, shout out to you, um, Nicholas Brendon and the family of Nicholas Brendon, because this is unfortunate to hear this crazy news. So, yeah, I'll say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story regarding the news regarding Buffy alum Nicholas Brendon's cause of death? I'm not gonna go through that tongue twister again. I'll say what I said. If you want to hear what it was specifically, rewind the thing back and it'll be a do-over. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's get into this mess regarding the whole Met Gala. So yeah, the Met Gala happened last night. A lot of celebrities showed up and showed out. I heard they had to slash the prices on the Met Gala ticket prices because they wasn't getting a lot of A-listers that were showing up. And there were some people that threw some shade at the Met Gala because of Jeff Bezos and his wife, aka who what I call them is I call him Dr. Evil and I call her the Joker because if you've seen her face, that's what she looked like. So um to me, I've always looked at Lauren Sanchez as somebody that was trying to get into the industry. I remember at one point, I think she was a reporter, then she was a host, because what I'm sure probably people don't know or probably don't remember, she was the original host of So You Think You Could Dance. She did the first season, and then they got rid of her and brought in Kat Deely, probably because she lacks a personality and it's kind of like hard to look at that face because all the shit she put in it. So, that face don't move. So with all that being said, um, the people was upset, and there was people throwing shade. There was Lisa Ann Walters threw shade at them. Also, Taraji P. Henson had came out and got pissed off at a lot of the celebrities for deciding to go to the Met Gala due to the circumstances that we're currently dealing with. And if people need a refresher on what we're dealing with, is that we're dealing with in a world where there are people out here who have been thrown money into the policies of the current president. And Jeff Bezos was a big donor to them, whereas he went about his way to not endorse Kamala Harris and all that other stuff. And that's fine. You can endorse who you want to endorse, but you saw where the tea leaves was going. You knew that you were going to get your little tax breaks and all that other stuff from Donald Trump, because as long as y'all can get whatever y'all want out of that man, he don't give a shit as long as he gets rich as well. So y'all were gonna do whatever y'all want. And of course, people were pissed off at Jeff Bezos because he don't pay Amazon workers a living wage. There are people who literally have to go and use the bathroom in pee bottles or piss in a bottle because they can't leave the line where they're doing all the factory work, or they got the Amazon drivers who have to go piss in bottles. And there was a thing at one point where there was some other, there was people dropping little pee bottles all around the Met Gala as a sign of protest. I also have a clip that I want to play for y'all later on of this guy by the name of, do I have it? Oh yeah, Chris Smalls, who was a former Amazon worker, and he was fired. And I think it's because he wanted to speak out against the atrocities that was going on at Amazon, and he's been like an activist since then. And also how he was arrested yesterday while he was outside protesting the Met Gala. So all of this stuff was going on. A lot of celebrities showed up and showed out. There was a couple of photos, and I will say this: maybe this will call me a hypocrite or whatever, but I'm gonna call out all the things. But I could also still appreciate some of the looks that popped off. Excuse me, last night at the awards on the Met Gala, which I heard that they raised a lot of money at the end of the day, and that's awesome. If y'all want to raise a lot of money and it's for a good cause, that's great. I just don't like this idea of people like Jeff Bezos, who literally is out here acting like um a Timu Lex Luthor, who's running around, you know, not paying their people and treating their workers like shit while you got like 8 damn yachts and you out here just throwing money around on frivolous crap and buying your way into the cool kids club, well, doing it for Lauren because Lauren couldn't hack it as an entertainer. So you're busy using your money because clearly it ain't the face that's got him hypnotized. It must be them titties that she paid for. And the fact that she talked about she did some weird regimen to lose 2 pounds. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I saw the outfit she wore. First of all, I don't understand how y'all got so much money and your outfit looks so damn cheap. It literally looked like she got the shit from Shein and didn't even follow the protocol of what the theme was, which was fashion is art. So, and there was very few people there that followed the theme, and one of the people that followed it was Magenta. So, hold on as I pull up that. Wait, because I got a slide. We're gonna go down the slide, and see like what's the outfits that everybody was wearing. So, hopefully this thing unblurs because this is annoying. Okay, so this is Santa. And then we got Beyonce. I mean, I do like Beyonce's outfit. So these are some of the clothes that I like. We also have Connor's story. I know there was some people saying that they didn't particularly care for Connor's story's look or whatever the case is. I like, first of all, he's giving arms down, and we've already seen the ass, so we know the ass is on point. And I think, and when I was watching the Gavian red carpet thing, a lot of people saying that yeah, they like he the rivalry or whatever the case was. Alec Mapa said he got bored in the first couple. He's like, can y'all just get to the fuck in the ring? So, kind of story. But he was like, everybody was choosing Ilya as their favorite. They was like A, the accent, and B, because the ass is on point. And Connor got a big ass. So I don't know if he I mean, I have an inkling, but I ain't trying to out nobody. But if this thing is part of the community, oh, he gonna make a top real happy getting up and them clapping them cheeks. Anyway, so but then we also have, speaking of tops, um, we got Luke Evans, who also performed yesterday at the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, who Jimmy Fallon was also at the what is that? He was at the blah, 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 blah. He was at the Knicks game. And they shoot these shows earlier stuff in the day. So he basically they performed Sweet Transvestite because he's playing Dr. Frankenfurter in uh the Rocky Horror Picture Show that's currently on Broadway. So I like this outfit because um he pays homage to Tom of Finland. So that's what I love about this overall look. And I do love the overall aesthetic of Tom of Finland. So I was feeling this outfit. Luckily, it wasn't hot out, so he would have been sweating. I also like Tyreek Withers, but I didn't particularly care for Tyreek Withers' look. But the only thing that I like about this is the face card. One thing you cannot deny about this fine ass man is his face card because he fine as hell. So I know a lot of people online, of course, making comments about him having a little, I don't know, is it a clutch? Is it a purse? I don't know. But a man bag. But yeah, they're always trying to do this whole thing. But I love the fact that the masculine and the feminine, because look, Dwayne Johnson was there yesterday too, and he wore a skirt. And if y'all was gonna come out and talk about he a woman or feminine or make little feminine or homophobic comments or whatever, he said real men wear skirts, especially from where he's from, because he's Hawaiian. So um people need to get cultured. So then we got Tiana Taylor here looking like cousin It. Then we have Sam Smith. I mean, I don't like the outfit. I just put this in for shits and giggles. So that's the only reason why I added this look. But he out here looking like Amelia Bedelia, the big mom, the big version. Then we got Doja Cat looking like somebody's white nanny. I don't know who this is. He's some I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who this guy is, but I like the fit and I like the outfit. I like the color coordination, all that stuff. This is Gwendolyn Christie. I like her look. I mean, this was fabulous. And we've seen the girls on Drag Race who do the whole, the Two-Face mask thing. Now, speaking of Two-Face, I already, revealed it. Here go Katy Perry. The best she ever looked was when she put that closed mask on. I said, what's she trying to be, the third member of Daft Punk? And then we got I think that's Lisa from Blackpink. I did see Rose and the other girls there, but I didn't like their outfits. Then we got Patrick Schwarzenegger, Janelle Monáe, Coleman Domingo. I mean, I was kind of feeling the ways about this outfit. I do like the top part. It's giving like Star Trek fit. Like like that top is giving very Star Trek from the '60s, and the bottoms is like okay, it's giving a little maybe '70s, whatever the case is. I don't know how I feel about the outfit, but Coleman Domingo at this point could wear any damn thing. And then we got Sabrina Carpenter and Somber. I do like the cape on him. Then we got Heidi Klum. Heidi Klum will find an excuse to wear something crazy because she is the queen of Halloween. And then we have Troy Sivan, which fuck that reporter for being shady. They interviewed Gabrielle Union, and then when Troy Sivan started coming down the red carpet, all of a sudden she just pushed her to the side to have a conversation with him. I mean, I don't know what fashionist art is in this. I don't know if he didn't get the memo or he just happened to be walking down the street. Somebody just threw him on the red carpet and he didn't know what the hell was going on. He just showed up somewhere, didn't know that it was the Met Gala. But this outfit was not giving. But I just wanted to show this because it's Troy Sivan, and I wanted to throw that little comment in there about that asshole reporter who decided to move somebody to the side because the young shiny thing was coming up the thing. And then we've been seeing this happen a lot with celebrities. Then we have a Cher. So shout out to her. I do like the cape. Um, Sarah Paulson. I mean, it's giving Cinderella at the ball, but the outfit was looking like she mopped the floor in it before she hit the red carpet or the green carpet. Then we got Doshi on the yellow brick road. Then we got Blue Ivy. I don't like that outfit though. I mean, the ruching at the bottom. It's like she's got tissue shoved at the bottom of the dress. I don't know. I don't like that. And then we have Bad Bunny out here giving old man tease. I mean, I don't know. I guess is being elderly an art form or living long an art form because him coming as an old man was interesting. And it's funny they show like there was a sense of awkwardness because he ran into um Chris Jenner on the red carpet, and I think also Kylie Jenner, because remember he dated Kendall at one point, and Kendall was there. So this is why look if it's gonna be awkward with these celebrities, don't start dating them. Then we have Sierra and Russell Wilson. I definitely like this idea. She's a queen to be like it's giving very coming to America. Then we got Rihanna and ASAP Rocky. I don't know how I feel about her. It looked like she had like it's giving Saturn's return. Like she got the Saturn ring around her, and then she got mummified at the bottom of the skirt. But I definitely like ASAP's coat. I'm definitely living for the coat. Then we got Cardi B, which looks like, I don't know if she took like an idea of, this is the placenta of all my kids, all four of them, and just decided to make a dress out of it. But then they asked her what was the inspiration. And this is how you know a lot of these celebrities just go along with the whole situation. She said, I don't know, you got to ask Mr. Jacobs. So clearly Marc Jacobs dressed her, and she had no idea what the hell she was wearing. She was just there to be a mannequin. Okay, well, if you like it, I love it, but I don't like it. But I definitely love the fit because her waist was snatched, the ass didn't look crazy, like because the booty is botched, but the booty was actually looking. So it's got to be some sort of a corset situation going on the inside, or something to help keep the booty refined. And then now we have the Coven Witches, which is Beyonce, Katy Perry, and Rihanna. So yeah. So that's basically it with that. So I just want to go and give the whole look situation. But now that we got that out the way, now I feel like I can go in and read these hoes, and that will be the Bezoses. So Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez Bezos, aka Dr. Evil and the Joker, are trying to have it both ways. Now, on one hand, they're both busy sucking up to the president for a tax break while refusing to pay Amazon workers a living wage and giving them health care. And on the other hand, wanting to hang with the cool kids, aka people in the industry that's all about celebrating equality, diversity, and creativity. All because Lawrence couldn't hack it as an entertainer on her own. So the only way either of them could be accepted is by buying their way to the cool kids table. Now, the Bezoses are under fire as their growing influence in elite spaces, including the Met Gala, sparks backlash. Now, a PR expert says the couple's attempt to position themselves as the center of culture is falling flat with younger audiences. Now, media strategist Mike Fahey didn't hold back in his assessment of the couple's growing presence. They said 2 weeks ago, reports surfaced that Bezos was approached to help buy back Kylie Jenner's cosmetic line. Their wedding was one of the biggest star-studded events of the last few years. Now, to me, this signals that power and wealth are trying to rebrand themselves as culture, but younger audiences are more skeptical than ever. To them, this could read less like iconic power couple and more like unchecked wealth trying to buy cool. And here's the thing, what I've been saying for the longest, you can't buy your way into being cool. Yeah, you can get yourself in the room. Yeah, you can hang out with these people. And yeah, they'll smile and they'll nod and they'll act like you go along to get along. But they talking shit about y'all. They like, oh, these old bum asses, they ain't shit. Y'all ain't got nothing going for you. Yeah, you got your little money or whatever, but you're still soulless and empty on the inside. And you're mingling with a lot of people. Yeah, there's some Nepo babies in the room, but you got a lot of these people who are all about equity and a lot of DEIs, meaning that diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's what the arts is supposed to be about. People who literally pulled themselves up through the trenches, went and trained, went and did whatever every little audition or whatever else they could, they did it. Or if you're a musician, you had to come up in the trenches in order to blow up and become the big superstars they are today. A lot of self-made artists. We ain't talking about the Kardashians or some of these people that was born with silver spoons in their mouth, but real genuine blue collar, pull themselves out of the bootstrap artists who had to create their own lane or whatever the case is, or play the game in order to get that to that A-list status and be able to hobnob amongst these people. This man built his little business, whatever the case is. She married into it and is using her husband or whatever to just give her whatever she want because she want to be a part of the elite. You are part of the elite, but I guess you want to be in with the cool kids and the artistic crowd. And they look at her like, y'all are the people, y'all, we're the ones who were the art kids and the glee club and all this stuff. And you're just on the aesthetic side, not saying that they really did, because Jeff Bezos was probably a nerd getting his ass beat in school. It was like, I'm gonna show you MFers, and became like the wealthiest man in the world. But y'all were trying to get to be those people that were at the cool kids table, that you were trying to be the jock and the cheerleader. Like that's the image that you're trying to perpetuate, being the rich elite oligarch type, because he's a part of the 1%. And people don't get to accumulate this much money without having to crush a lot of hearts and kill a lot of dreams and destroy a lot of jobs and not pay people a living damn wage, which we know that Jeff Bezos does not do. Didn't he just lay off people from the Wall Street Journal too? So Faye also touched on the inevitability of backlash with the Bezos couple being part of such a beloved event. When you put someone like Jeff Bezos on a red carpet at the Met Gala in this economic and political climate, backlash isn't a risk, it's a baseline. Just like the Italian wedding made headlines across the globe, they're a lightning rod for controversy. Now, despite never really doing much in the controversial realm of things, in many ways, their only flaw is being wealthy. Well, I don't know if we could just simplify it. Their only flaw is being wealthy. I told you that, yeah, the flaw is being wealthy, and people don't like that there's this inequality or this crazy imbalance between the haves and the have-nots, which we're starting to see that gap getting a lot bigger, especially under this administration, because who did Donald Trump have at his inauguration sitting in the front row? Normally, it's politicians that you're supposed to have in the front first row. No, he had oligarchs sitting in the front row, the Peter Thiels and the Jeff Bezos and all these other people that have a lot of money that funneled a lot of money into his campaign. The Elon Musk and all of these folks. That's who he had sitting front row and had the politicians sitting in the back. Well, maybe the second row. It's kind of like being front row at a fashion show. You know, the creme de la creme sit in the front row. And then people like Joe Budden sit in the second row. Look, if you know, you know, because that was that time when I was working the Knicks game, and I forget the celebrity that they put on camera. Might have been Fat Joe. Second row, Joe Budden was right behind him, and I'm sitting there like, "Well, damn, Joe, you can't afford a front row seat. You can't sit in celebrity row. You sitting in row two." Shout out to my coworker Sal, because Sal does celebrity row. Him and Beth. Child, don't put. I was like, one of the things about MSG. I was like, I would not want to do celebrity row because that's stress city. But anyway, but yeah, they also said that the backlash was baked in. But also, I should say this: Jeff Bezos was there. They showed that they took pictures of him inside the event. He did not walk the red carpet. Um, yeah, Timu Lex Luthor did not walk the red carpet, but the Joker did with that cheap ass looking sheen dress she had on. Because I'm sitting there like, what about this dress screams fashion is art? And I feel like a lot of people really missed the point in regards to the fashion is art thing. Madonna followed the theme. I think Beyonce followed the theme. Heidi Klum, I can see follow the theme. I can see like maybe Katy Perry, but I guess she thought putting a mask on was enough. But there was a lot of people that did not follow that theme. Now they also said you're not putting Bezos on that carpet in 2026 without triggering a reaction. The only real question wasn't if there'd be backlash, but how loud it would be. Now at this year's Met Gala, Sanchez chose a custom Chaparelli. Well, child, it don't look custom, but look cheap. Chaparelli, or maybe it's because the way she looks, she makes it look cheap. Schiaparelli strapless gown with pearl accents, a design linked by Vogue to the once controversial Madam X portrait by John Singer Sargent. Chad, that looked like just a simple ass dress. I don't know where on there they talking about it was linked by Vogue to a once controversial Madam X portrait. So they said, when you stand in front of it now, you see a beautiful woman, Sanchez said. For me, the image represents how fashion and cultural standards can shift over time. Today, a strap is a strap, but back when Madam X was painted by Sargent, a strap was a scandal. She completed the look with a pair of 60-carat pear-shaped diamond and pearl drop earrings, as well as a 35-carat Marquise Golconda diamond ring. Now, interestingly, Sanchez appeared on the carpet alone despite the couple serving as primary donors and honorary chairs. Well, they were given the honorary chair because they paid $10 million. They, for that seat. So when you spending that money, you could buy your way into anything. Now, despite the high fashion references and multi-million dollar styling, Sanders' appearance quickly became a lightning rod for criticism, with much of the online chatter focusing on her face rather than the gown. They said she likely paid a ton to get this look. The surgery was unsuccessful. One person raged, as another responded, not sure which part is more fake, going with the lips. Now, a third user went off. She was so pretty before all the surgeries. Yes, she was. Because I remember seeing earlier pictures. Look, you know who was also pretty before all them damn surgeries? Jocelyn Wendelstein. May she rest in peace. Now she looked like the lion lady. She looked like the lion sleeps tonight. She look like she about 2 seconds away from singing "A Weem Away, A Weem Away, A Weem Away, A Weem." Now I need somebody to take the time, and then you hit the "In the Jungle, the Mighty Jungle, the Lion Sleeps Tonight." Like I need somebody to take the time, do the Weem Aways while I do the rest of the lyrics. That's what the face gives. Now, um, another added, "What's wrong with her face? She used to be hot." Yes, that when you're constantly, this is the problem I think with a lot of these uber rich people. It's never enough from them. They don't want to spend money. They just want to hoard it. You can't be buried with your money because somebody will dig that shit up and steal it. So I don't understand why people need to be a billionaire, a 2.5 billionaire, a 3 million, a 3 billionaire, or whatever the case is. Why do you need to have so much of that money? What are you doing with it? Oh, I need another yacht. You have four others. The money that they accumulate, and I'm not telling somebody how to spend their money, but when you see how people spending money on dumb shit or to fulfill a hole in themselves that can never be filled, it's like, oh, I gotta buy a seat at this table, or I have to buy this thing so that way I can just have it because I just need to have it. But you still feel empty inside. So what's the purpose? When they're still like, when you hear people say like you can take that money and you could fund so many hospitals and people could get universal health care and all these other things that are basic needs that human beings need. But no, these rich people just need more of the money so that way they can hoard it. And then they're still, like I said, they're empty on the inside. Now, they said that before the event began, reports claimed hundreds of bottles. Oh, yeah, I told y'all about this. Um, Hundreds of bottles filled with yellow liquid, believed to be fake urine, had been hidden throughout the museum. Now, it'd have been funny if y'all put some real pee up in there, some of that Suge Avery pee. That's what y'all should have did. And had they said had been written throughout the museum, including near valuable artifacts, raising alarm amongst staff. That's so nasty, but it's funny though. Now, and they said Anna is genuinely shocked by how hostile this has become. She never imagined the Met Gala would start being seen as a symbol of excess instead of cultural institution. But when you continue to allow people like a Jeff Bezos to be a part of the situation. And y'all can't say, well, Trump ain't part of it. But no, Bezos is the problem. Because when he put $70 million, $75 million for Melania's bullshit ass documentary, when you're giving money and you're hobnobbing with Trump so you get your tax incentives, you're guilty by association. So and then also, yeah, when I play on this other clip, Chris Moles spills some tea about Jeff Bezos too. That'll have you looking at him another way. So, as I said on my website, because this is where I'm reading it from, I basically wrote, I have no respect for the Timu Lex Luthor who doesn't take care of the workers that work their butts off helping Amazon turn a profit. Workers who have to resort to urinating in bottles due to the fact that they can't even get a pee break. The fact that we have someone who has to spend $10 million in order to get Lauren a seat next to Anna Wintour at a charity event is just beyond pathetic. Now, shout out to Lisa Ann Walter, Taraji P. Henson, Zendaya, and Timothy Chalamet for refusing to attend the Met Gala. Now, speaking of Taraji, I feel like let me get into that story. Hold on, because now I gotta pull up. Do I even have that? Um in here. Oh wait, I didn't create a lower third for that. So I'll just have to wing it, wing it, wing it. But now I gotta pull up the topic as I scroll through. Okay, I got it. So let's get in what Taraji had to say. So yeah, she joined. Oh, they said also Meredith Lynch criticized, the celebrities who attended this year's Met Gala, and they said because it was sponsored by honorary co-chairs. So when you got sponsors coming from oligarchs, it's like, and then people saying, well, this is the most money they've ever raised. They raised $40 million. I mean, but so was this worth it? I mean, it's good that it's helping with the Met Gala and we're keeping art alive, but I don't want no blood money if it's coming from Jeff Bezos. Now, Lynch posted a video on Instagram Saturday in which she warned A-listers not to wear the ice out pins to the Jeff Bezos back Met Gala because Jeff Bezos is part of the reason we're in this fucking mess. By this fucking mess, Lynch means Donald Trump's presidency, while Bezos supported which Bezos supported, as I said earlier. Now, while Lynch acknowledged that the Met is a wonderful institution in New York City that donates the funds from the gala to a good cause, she added that it is wild to me that this event is sponsored by Jeff Bezos, who has backed Trump, who has slashed art funding. And he did. And remember what he did with the Kennedy Center. So, what is the point of him wanting to be a part of the Met Gala when you basically help funnel a campaign for someone who has been cutting not only cancer research for kids, universal health care. Yeah, a lot of people, millions of people are out of health care, has been racking up and grabbing immigrants because I guess Lauren thinks she a white woman, but it's like you're grabbing immigrants and throwing them in the ICE detention camps or God knows where, and then slashing funding for the arts, and then fucking up the Kennedy Center because no artist and a bunch of artists have refused to perform at the Kennedy Center. Because remember, at one point, somebody's getting a renovation. It's not getting a renovation. They can't get nobody that wants to perform there. So what's the point of keeping it open? Now, once he's gone, because now he's talking about, and y'all laughing at this shit, but he just recently gone on one of his dementia-ridden rants or his little stand-up comedy and said that he's staying in for 2 more terms. And y'all thinking he's joking. I mean, quiet as it's kept, I don't think he's gonna last another year on this earth, but he's still out here entertaining because of his health. You know, the fake dentist appointment that he just had the other day. But he's talking about he's gonna stand out and still whining about this damn ballroom. Which who told you to fuck up the White House to build a ballroom? Like you wanna move in? Like do the ballroom at the Mar-a-Lago. So Taraji jumped in and said, I am so confused why some people are going. I'm just like, WTF are we doing? Now, on her Instagram story, Henson reshared a post that slammed Bezos for owning a $500 million super yacht while also having workers at Amazon warehouses that face precarious conditions, low wages, and high injury rates. Henson captioned her Instagram story, Enjoy the Met. And you know, what his answer will be is, well, we'll just put artificial intelligence. So you'll have like the T-1000 up in there now delivering boxes and shit to y'all that need it in 24 hours or less. Which, quiet as it's kept, I don't want the Terminator dealing with my packages. I need real human beings up in there doing what needs to be doing, making sure shit is correct. Pay them a living wage. I mean, what you don't you don't think you have enough money? Pay your people. Now, they said despite the outrage, the controversial sponsor did not stop some of Hollywood's biggest stars from partying at the Met. So a lot of the celebrities we'd already talked about: Bad Bunny, Tiana Taylor, Margot Robbie, Coleman Domingo, Venus Williams, Nicole Kidman, of course, Anna Wintour, aka Edna Mode, and all of them was up in there partying. So everybody was up in here complaining and bitching and moaning. And at the end of the day, them cries went on deaf ears. But anyway, so last but certainly not least, there's this video I want to show y'all of Chris Smalls, who was a former Amazon worker that decided to call out Jeff Bezos. Now I'm not sure if this is his penthouse, but as in Jeff Bezos, because I'm sure he's got homes everywhere. But he did like a little projection on a building, which was spilling tea about Jeff Bezos. So we're gonna play that clip. And then we're gonna come. Oh yeah, they said a warm welcome at the Bezos penthouse in New York City during the Met Gala. Okay, so it was his penthouse. So we're gonna play this clip and we're gonna come back and talk. Please hold.
What's going on, Jeff? Remember me, the fired Amazon worker that you signed off on the smear campaign, calling me not smart or articulate, but you also said to make me the face of the whole unionizing efforts against Amazon. Amazon is heavily invested in this genocide. They invest $7.2 billion into Project Nimbus, a project that is being used to fund and power the technology being used to surveil and target innocent Palestinians. Also, we all know that Amazon has ties to ICE. They are powering ICE devices. Now you're going to have the Met Gala where you're going to be surrounded by all these elites and billionaires and A-listers when you have poverty right outside on the streets, we got to remind ourselves that it's more of us than there is of them. And when we fight back every time, we win. Billionaires shouldn't exist. Billionaires, they got to go.
All right, so there you have it. And I just like, yeah, I just want to make sure y'all saw that before we get up out of here. You know, I like to inform y'all of the things that all the other networks and things aren't going to inform y'all on. So shout out to Chris Smalls. I know I also heard that he was protesting outside the Met Gala. He ended up getting arrested. I'd heard about that before I even saw this video. But so hopefully he's out by now, and you keep fighting the good fight, and everybody out there continue to call out these wealthy ass, no life having ass oligarchs for what they're doing to the country and the world. And I'm glad that people are starting to revolt against these data centers that they're trying to build too, because they want AI to take over. And you already know with the data centers how much water they accumulate and how it's gonna destroy the environment. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding Jeff Bezos and the whole Met Gala situation on the politics that's surrounding it? I definitely want to hear from y'all. And I see I got a ton of comments I got to get to after I'm done with this segment regarding this story. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Wait, let me open up the new window because there's a lot of the comments I'm going to have to get to. No, it takes a second. I hope I don't leave the earth in pieces. Oh yeah. I would not want to end up like that girl that David did what he did to her. And he said, when I tell you my jaw dropped and my heart started fluttering when I saw Madonna at the Met. I love it when she pulls out that wig, the black wig, and she's referencing the temptation of Saint Anthony. Luke Evans, Troy Sivan, Emma Chamberlain, and Doshi were also some of my personal highlights from the night. And Jeff's wife went in a dress she could have worn anyway. Absolutely. And she's trying to give this whole backstory. I'm like, well, bitch, we couldn't tell by looking at it. Kind of story in the not the other one. I only put kind of stories in there because I like the whole, and I'm all like I've always felt like my favorite attribute on my body is my arms. Like I like my arms. So those are always willing to show those off. But and so that's why I like Connor's look. Hudson Williams, and I saw that they posted a video of him getting I think it was a Vogue video of him getting ready for the Met Gala. They dropped it on YouTube earlier. I didn't like his look and I don't like the whole makeup. So that's why I didn't put, arrived too late, child. That's what was that? Our third topic. And he said people are so uncultured. They thought Madonna was satanic, but she brought the temptation of Saint Anthony to life. If you read the description, she threw shade at the Bezos. Well, people are just stupid. They always think that if you wear a certain dress or if you look a certain way, it's evil, it's demonic, it's witchery. That's all. That's basically because people are just surface level thinkers instead of being like, let me find out the backstory behind what this look is. People don't do research. They only want to rage bait. I always like when Heidi Klum hits the red carpet or any carpet, because she's always willing to just have fun, due to the circumstances. Especially, she loves Halloween, and she was always doing like this little. She always does like this little annual Halloween look or whatever. I heard they did the same with Angela Bassett. Oh yeah, Angela Bassett was there too. Yeah, they do it with the older black women. It's like, oh, let me move somebody to the side so that we could bring the next person on. It's like, well, bitch, I remember the next time when I see your ass on the see, I will pull a chaperone where it's like, oh yeah, you was nasty to me that one time on that red carpet. I'm not talking to you. That would be me. ASAP coat was given kimono. See, now that's a kimono y'all should wear on Drag Race. If you know, you know. The Coven Witches pick was ruined with Katie being in the middle. Like, bitch, if you don't move. Some people were saying Madonna looked like a witch. Of course, that's going to be the thing that they're going to say because of the overall aesthetic. And she had a ship on her head. Not you saying she said she looked like a botched blow up dog. But yeah, because she got the implants, the small waist. And, she's always going to be out here trying to maintain, trying to keep her youth when it took forever for him to actually put a ring on it. I read reports that the museum wants to go away from the ball as they know the shift is changing as millennials were the last generation. Yeah, it's starting to change a lot because it seems like accessibility or over excessiveness or whatever the case is, or just the rich versus the poor, it's affecting it's I think it's affecting millennials as well. But Gen Z is going to be really affected by what's going on in a lot of the decisions made by boomers and Gen X. So a lot of the younger generation is feeling it. They don't care about all this rich oligarch bullshit. And yeah, they're going to see a lot of this. And if you have an idea of the thing. And yeah, at a certain point, it kind of gets old, it ages out, and you might need to get rid of it. Now, if you want to do something, I don't know, if they want to come up with something different, then that's great. If you want to find a way to raise money for the Met Gala, I do think that's awesome because it is a good charity. But the whole oligarch angle of it, I think, is what's hurting them. The fundraiser due to the culture and young people aren't into Hollywood, don't really dream about becoming famous. Well, I don't know if, well, I mean, fame comes with being an influencer. So I don't know if that's necessarily true. It's just fame is manifesting into something different. Whereas if you're talking about the old school version of, yeah, I want to be an actor or an actress and that sort of thing, and you get fame from that, this generation with the influence of that stem from the reality TV thing of being something for nothing. The Kardashians, the the Paris Hiltons, like all that sort of thing, where it's like you literally could create the DIY self-made artist or celebrity, which I think if we really want to take it back, we could take it back to Andy Warhol, where he said everybody was going to have a 15 minutes. I think the Met Gala is usually funded when people, because I hear you got to spend a shit ton of money. Like them tables are expensive. A fashion designer buys a table and then they dress a celebrity. And I think that's how they do it. I have to really look into how is the Met Gala funded. But from what my thought about it was that people show up and celebrities donate and that sort of thing. So I always thought that that's how that is, but I have to do the research on how they're funded. I'm trying to tame my celeb worship. When I look back on at my teen years, I wasted so much time running that Stan account and wish I could get it back. I love music but celebrity worship. Yeah, it's like you can like that's the one thing too, is like and you gotta find that balance of you love the art, you love the creativity, you like that aspect of it, but the fandom is what gets crazy. And I don't remember what it was I was watching, but they said they feel like the fandom stems from it might have been I think it might have been Linda Perry because I was watching interviews with her, and let me tell you, Linda been spilling a lot of tea. One of the things I did not know, y'all know, or get the party started. She sent that to Madonna before she gave it to Pink, and she said she sent it to Guy Siri. Guy Siri and them heard it. And one of the reporters or the person she was interviewing with was like, "So is there a demo? Whatever?" And I even from just her explaining, I was like, "No, she didn't even record it. They heard the song, they knew it wasn't for her, they moved on." And then it came around to Pink, and then giving into the whole thing about how Beautiful came about and how Christina really wasn't that comfortable being when she first had her meeting with Linda Perry. So that's clearly the label that put her in that whole situation. But anyway, so they were talking about celebrity worship and stuff. And I think what it is that, or it might have been Pink that said this. I think a lot of times fans, where she said that how she wanted when she listened to people like Janis Joplin or even Linda Perry, when she listened to her music, how she connected so much with her voice and how when she was a teenager and she was in her parents' attic and she was getting high on Quaaludes or whatever the case was, she's singing one of the Four Non Blondes song at the top of her lungs because she was like, and when she got to a place of a career where she met or she was tracking down Linda Perry and wanted to work with her on what became misunderstood in that whole situation is that instant connection. Like when you listen to the artists and their music, you feel like you connect to them in such a way that's just beyond anything that anyone can understand because they're showing a side of their vulnerable side and they're projecting that in their music. And you listen to it, it's like, well, they're speaking to me. So I think that's where that celebrity worship and the fandom and stuff comes from. For those who really get into the deep trenches of the music, Then there's them shallow motherfuckers that just look at somebody that just got something cute on, or does panders to the gays, and all of a sudden they go off and start acting like the Barbs or the little monsters. Oh, sorry, baby critters or something like that. It's a charity event. The museum is funded by the Gala. Like people said, they don't need the Gala. They can do it quietly, but it's a party for them. Or just do the charity. But also the after party. The after party you could do like how Madonna and Sabrina did. They had a little after party, and you said Bella Hadid didn't go either. Haley Bieber was there. They said she's also pro Palestine. I don't think Justin was. The ballroom is a secret. Well, we know when we get hit with the nuclear bomb. You said Arizona is considering $25 an hour. It's going to be on the ballot. Well, that's good. What is that, like y'all minimum wage or whatever? What is the minimum wage in? I think in New York it's 17. Child, on Thursday, I was thinking I was going to do a show, but I can't because I have to go to MSG and vote on our new contract because we got a new contract that's going to kick in 2029. So we got to vote on that on Thursday and stuff. So that's going to be fun. They've been working on this contract for a minute. And we do get paid a shit ton of money, so I will be voting yes. And they said Chris Smalls was basically kidnapped. What's the one that was on the ship with Greta Thunberg when they was going over there on the pirate ship? Well, not the pirate ship, but it was going on the ship to bring aid to the Palestinians. I think he was the one that um he was a part of that whole group, and he got beat up and stuff. Because I remember the IDF went and was doing what they was doing. He said his team had a hard time finding him. His team said if they didn't find him, he would have been unalived and body gone. Chris was denied bail. He was called a danger to society. So Jeff is gonna have him gone for. Well, look, if that happens, you said we talking about you got a stiffer for Connor. Well, look, then people will be definitely coming after Jeff Bezos if he's going to try to act like he's the president of the United States. Where anybody who disagrees with him, he want to make sure they disappear. Why do you think I call him the Timu Lex Luthor? You said a lot of them was POC people. As a white person, I'm scared how many black people are into religion. Can you guys embrace atheism? People of color have been so indoctrinated into the whole thing of religion and church, which was created by colonizers. And a lot of that stuff with organized religion was just used to blind you from a lot of what's going on in the world, which is why I don't, that's you know slave mentality when it comes to like the uber churches. And why do you think I call that Bible the book of fairy tales? Because the man wrote it. It wasn't no man upstairs. Now, do I believe in a higher power and energy and spiritual stuff and things? I do. But all this other extra shit y'all be putting out here with the religious stuff, it's a crock of shit. Because under the same breath, you got these people in these churches spending more time asking people for money and donations. Donate to this, give money to this. Mind you, the whole world's going to shit and people can barely keep the lights on in their house. But you out there got a whole, you know, knitted basket out asking for ties. It's like, go away with that bullshit. Say Madonna don't make me feel good in my bones. Because I don't know how true Gen Z don't want to be influencers. That's why I said they want to be influencers and they want to be famous because with being an influencer comes the fame and the money. Euphoria just had a whole episode about it. Olivia Rodrigo referenced influencer culture in her SNL photo shoot. Speaking of which, with Coachella, I saw they dropped the interview with. I think they're trying to do like actors on actors, but now they're trying to do it with musicians. Slater and Pink Pantheress interviewing each other. I was like, oh, I gotta watch that. They put it in the queue before I started the show because I was like, oh, I see that because I was watching while I was putting the show together. I was catching them on some stuff. Celebrity culture has definitely shifted due to stan culture becoming an overtly obsessive from either hating and harassing a celebrity or straight up worshiping them. Child, this shit need to be studied too. And yeah, there needs to be a balance. It's either worship or witch hunt. A lot of these influencers need to start being good at something. But hello, post the pictures because allegedly Euphoria scrapped an influencer entire role. Excuse me, in the last episode because his acting was bad. That's another thing too, is that Hollywood has gotten to this place, and there have been celebrities that have talked about it. That now and I think this is where Dylan O'Brien was coming and making this complaint as well. That he says he refused to have an Instagram, and the studios get pissed off about it. Excuse me, and they think it's because they hire artists or give roles based on how many followers you have on social media. And that's good and all, but can you act? Can you read lines? Can you and deliver them convincingly? I'm not going to give you a role because you're a famous person on TikTok and you're good at making these little videos. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't any talented people on social media that couldn't get a break and are using those tools in order to get noticed, because we've been seeing like there's been a rise in young filmmakers who started out making shorts on YouTube and this that, and the other. Because one of them is he's got a movie coming out called Obsession. He started out doing a little short on YouTube, got the movie Obsession coming out, was getting rave reviews, and now he's about to direct the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. We had what's the name? Markiplier. We had a movie. Then we also had Chris Stuckman, who started out reviewing and being a movie critic, which people kind of like don't like him that much anymore because now he's like, well, now that I'm on the other side of the aisle, now I'm not gonna go and give negative critiques of people's movies. Nobody said you got to give a negative critique. Just restructure how you review movies. You give the good and the bad and what you think could have been worked better for you. We're not saying like if you give any kind of criticism, now you're like, oh, and now you leave it open and you're not going to have another opportunity. If that's the attitude you're going to have on that, then don't get into filmmaking. If you're going to worry about that, they're going to blacklist me if I critique this Warner Brothers movie that wasn't that good. Like that's just dumb. But yeah, if you're in that situation, then that's fine. But you can't just be giving people roles and it's like, God, this kid is awful. We just gonna have to scrap this whole situation. Stan Code is also seeped in fictional character fan bases, where now in some spaces, loving a fictional villain is considered problematic. I know, right? Because I'm like, really? You do know it's from a comic book or a movie or whatever. I can't like a character because we try to say it's like me. I'm like them. Religion is limiting. They shame what you love. I follow my own dogma, as everybody should. His name is Vinny Hacker. If you want to Google him, pretty face, terrible actor, allegedly. The name sounds familiar though. I remember Jennifer Aniston got destroyed for saying the exact criticism, but did she lie? Maybe what it is that it's coming from someone who they feel like, oh, you're already in Hollywood, blah blah blah. Blah. And I think they look at her as, oh, she's older, she's kind of thumbing her nose at a lot of the way the industry is shifting. And she has the right to do that because she's somebody who was like, I had to work my ass off on getting to where I am before I got my big break on Friends. Yeah, some people call her a Nepo baby because her father, John, was on Days of Our Lives. But for the most part, she had to start out somewhere. Joe Keery says something similar about how him having zero social media affected his career. Not sure why higher ups are surprised that not every famous person wants to post every single moment of their life. Absolutely. It's like we like a little mystery. So that way they can get lost in the role. I think influencers are just used as advertisements. They're not actual creators. I feel like the name content creator has lost its meaning. Podcasters, fan editors, commentators are the real ones. Yeah, because I feel like I fit in the whole podcaster commentator situation. I mean, what I do create is content. So technically, in a way, I am a content creator. But yeah, I'm like, I don't like the word influencer. I'm like, what am I influencing? I'm not trying to influence anybody. I'm just reporting the news, giving my opinion, and if you agree, agree. If you don't, that's fine. We could have a little debate about the situation, but I'm not running out here just spewing propaganda and brainwashing certain people because with this whole situation is like Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. You have a responsibility to give people the right information, but I don't feel like I would have been able to do this if I was younger because I didn't have all the answers. And even now, I still don't have all the answers, but I do know a lot more than I did when I was in my 20s and 30s. And that's from living life. But anyway, let's get into some lighter news. And let's talk about the Tony Awards. So their Tony nominations have come out. So yay. I was actually happy to hear that the Lost Boys got a nomination, which I actually want to see. And there was some nominations from some others. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the Tony Awards this year. I didn't know how I was gonna feel about some of these nominations, but let's get into them. So the Lost Boys and Schmigadoon dominated the nominations for the 79th Tony Awards on Tuesday, earning 12 nods each, followed closely by the critically acclaimed revival of Ragtime with 11. Now, Death of a Salesman, a radical reimagining of Arthur Miller's look at capitalism's corrosive influence, was the top play, earning 9 nominations, including nods for the performances of Nathan Lane, Laurie Metcalf, and Christopher Abbott. Oh yeah, I remember I did walk past. Like I think I was coming from the movies in Lincoln Square, and a lot of times what I like to do is I don't jump on the train or whatever. If it's nice outside, I walk from 68th Street or 67th Street to or where's it? Or is it 65th? Y'all know it's in the goddamn 60s. Who cares specifically? But I go from the 60s over to like Times Square, whatever the case is, or maybe 34th, and I'll get right on the train and walk the way home. So if I'm in the city, I like doing that, like walking around and stuff. So and I did see like they had a play. I was like Nathan Lane, Laurie Metcalf, and Christopher Abbott in a play together. That sounds interesting. So yeah, and then they said, as well as Joe Mantello's direction. The show marks the comeback of Scott Rudin, the superstar producer who retreated from Broadway following multiple allegations of bullying and abuse in 2021. Rudin not only produced Salesman, he also oversaw Little Bear Ridge Road, which earned a Best Play nomination. Now, this year's Tony season has yet to determine a clear frontrunner. That 12-12-11 split, excuse me, along among the top contenders is highly unusual in modern Tony history, where recent seasons have typically produced an undeniable favorite, i.e., Hamilton with 16 or A Strange Loop with 11 in their respective winning years. The Lost Boys and Schmigadoon, which are elaborately produced shows, will vie for Best Musical alongside 2 smaller scale productions, the off-Broadway transfer Titanic and the West End export Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York. Hopefully it wasn't a cheesecake. If you know, you know. uh, Ragtime will compete for Best Musical Revival against Cats, The Jellicle Ball, which I actually want to see that because it's like Cats, but it's a ballroom version of it. So it's lots of cat, shabam, like a lot of that going on up in there. And I want to definitely see that because that's queer coded, not necessarily coded, but it's got a lot of the gay stuff up in there, so that's why I want to see it. What they said, which transports the Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical to the world of ballroom culture, and Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show, a restaging of the kinky cult favorite. The Best Play category boasts several politically charged nominees. It's a group that includes not only Little Bear Ridge Road, but also The Ballisters, a comedy about a dysfunctional neighborhood organization, as well as Liberation, the story of a group of feminists in the 70s, and Giant, a look at children's author Roald Dahl's anti Semitism. Along with Salesman, the Best Play revival nominees include the relationship comedy Becky Shaw, the Noel Crawford, Noel Coward. Is it Noel Coward? Farce, Fallen Angels, a modern retelling of Oedipus, complete with a clock counting down the big reveal, and Every Brilliant Thing, a one-man show with Daniel Radcliffe as a grieving man. I just love the fact that Daniel Radcliffe continues to come back to Broadway. And then they said June Squibb and Danny Bernstein both broke Tony records for the same production, blah, 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 so and so forth. Um, I was like, is there anything else to say? Oh, they said lead actor in the play category produced one of the day's most striking lineups. Will Harrison earned a sole nomination for Punch, lending him outsider status and all that good stuff. So congratulations to the winners. But before we get, so now that we got into the winners, that's the positive. Unfortunately, we got to get to the people that got snubbed. I was gonna say the losers, but I don't want to be all mean and things. So let's talk about some of the people that actually got snubbed. So while some performers better known for TV and film roles made their Broadway debuts to the welcoming arms of Tony nominators, Rose Byrne and Alden Ehrenreich come to mind. Other stars of screen, big and small, went totally ignored. Now, among them, Adrian Brody for The Fear of 13, Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter waiting for Godot, Leah Michelle for Chess. And I did see some of my theater friends on social media throwing some shade at Leah Michelle. I seen it, Boudoir LaFleur. But anyway, I ain't want to call you out. And then Michael Musto was in the comments too. But Leah Michelle for Chess, the Bear star John Bernthal and Eben Moss Baccarat for Dog Day Afternoon. So we had The Punisher and The Thing in a play together. It's Dog Day Afternoon about a man who robs a bank so that way he can get his lover gender reassignment surgery. Because that was the movie I seen with and I actually own it with Al Pacino. Okay, so then we already said that with Dog Day Afternoon. Then we have Io Atterbury for Proof, Gene Smart for Call Me Izzy, Patrick Ball for The Pit, Don Cheadle for Proof, Joe Turner's Come and Gone stars Cedric the Entertainer and Taraji P. Henson, who we already talked about Taraji waiting on people who went to the Met Gala. And I told you I ran into Cedric Entertainer because he was at the same screening that I was at when I went to go see Michael Jackson in theaters at the Lincoln Center or Lincoln Square. So now they said the nominees with notable screen presence who made today's cut generally have equally strong stage careers, such as the Rocky Horror Show's Luke Evans, who has significant West End credits, Richard Thomas for The Ballusters, Daniel Radcliffe, Every Brilliant Thing, Nathan Lane, Death of a Salesman, Christopher Abbott for Death of a Salesman. And Christopher Abbott has dabbled. I always thought he came from the movies, but because I wasn't really that familiar with him, because I know he was in that horrible fucking what werewolf movie with Julia Garner. But and then he just knock up what's her name? That damn, what the hell? I forgot the actress's name that her husband, I guess. I think he died or she divorced, and next you know, she got pregnant by Christopher Abbott. Anyway, it don't matter. So but they're talking about a lot of people who have been nominated have been theater veterans. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're trying to say that's not the case, but maybe the fact is they don't want all of the Hollywood trying to invade the theater spaces. Because to be honest, when you've been looking at the theater for so long, a lot of what's been going on with that is that you get a lot of these big A-list names that come in and try to get butts in the theater seats. So it's not enough that you can get a Daniel Radcliffe or a John Lithgow or a Patty Lupone or Bernadette Peters or Audra McDonald or any of those. They're not enough, apparently, or an Evangeline from One Life to Live. What was her name? um, y'all know what I'm talking about. Or Lin-Manuel Miranda. That's not enough to get people butts in seats at the theater. So they got to hit up a Megan Thee Stallion or a JoJo or a Keanu Reeves or a Adrian Brody or somebody like that in order to get the butts in the seats. So, and it's unfortunate that there is a distinct different decision between you have A-list Hollywood people over here they sit for 14, 16 hour days. They only do like a little bit of whatever, and that's it. They don't have to sit and memorize so much dialogue and be on stage for 2 hours because, there is no cut, check the gate, do it over. There's no do-over when it comes to being in the theater. It's one and done. You only get one shot. So I don't know if that was the reason, or maybe it was just way too many performances that has been going on this season that a lot of people just had to get overlooked in this situation. Because look, doing theater is no joke. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time, a lot of dedication, a lot of energy, and a lot of brain power. So, shout out to y'all. So yeah, those are the ones that they said that. Oh wait, they said There were some nominations that seemed well off, or let's say that went in a different direction than I would have. First and foremost, Laurie Metcalf shut out from lead actress slash play for Little Bear Ridge Road. The actress scored a feature nom in Death of a Salesman. Um, so yeah, so I'm sure there's a whole lot of reasons going on. Who knows what it is, but those are the ones I just want to point out were snubbed, so that way you're aware. But anyway, so I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Did y'all happen to check anybody who's in New York who have visited New York? Did you check any shows? What were your favorite shows? Were any of the shows that you saw did they get overlooked in the nomination category? So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. The complete first season of Welcome to Dairy, so we're getting a second. Yeah, we are getting a second season. They mentioned that. I mean, who knows? Who knows when that'll happen? But we're getting a second season. They made that announcement, I think, right after the finale. The Tonys actually make folks earn their nomination, unlike unlike the Oscars. I don't know what the T is. I mean, he got a big nose, big dick. Isn't that what they say? And look, he out here dating Georgina Chapman, aka what's the rapist that's in jail? His ex-wife, Harvey Weinstein. First of all, they was both speaking of Adrian Brody. He was at the Met Gala yesterday. Him and Georgina. Hmm, Jesus, can't wait for this goddamn cold to be gone. Or this cough. All right, y'all. So now let's get into some hood rat news. It was funny when I came out the mouth. But anyway, let's get to this story. And let's talk about Love and Hip Hop. So, child, after 15 years, it looks like that Love and Hip Hop has finally come to an end. And all I got to say on that is it's about goddamn time. Because I was sitting there like, who still watches Love and Hip Hop? I don't know, not one person. I mean, usually if what was it? I think when I was on Philo, because that was the only way I could watch RuPaul's Drag Race. When I would get ready to fast forward, because it comes with a DVR and all that other stuff, and that's the only way I was able to see Drag Race Sidebar. Paramount, please, can y'all get y'all shit together? I don't understand why y'all don't show RuPaul's Drag Race simultaneously on your streaming service. If other channels get your show and post it on their streaming services, like Paramount has all the CBS stuff on there, when you get ABC and Fox and all these other channels, they have Hulu and Disney Plus. They put all their stuff on there. I don't understand why Paramount Plus hasn't gotten it in their head to post MTV type programming on their streaming service. That would get people to actually want to subscribe to the channel. Quiet as it's kept, y'all ain't really got shit on there. Now, but yeah, so now 15 years into the whole situation, it looks like that they have decided not to renew Love and Hip Hop. So it's going to come back as, I believe, a special. So, for over a decade and a half, Monday nights were defined by the high stakes drama, chart topping aspirations, and unforgettable heated moments. However, all legendary runs must eventually come to an end. I wish they would tell that to Andy Cohen over there at Bravo. Now, on May 1st, Paramount officially announced that the Love and Hip Hop franchise will be coming to an end with a definitive 6-part limited event titled Love and Hip Hop: The Final Chapter, set to premiere in fall of 2026. Now, since its debut in 2011, the franchise has done more than just entertain. It has reshaped the television landscape from the original streets of New York to the scorching scenes of Miami, Atlanta, and Hollywood. The series provided a massive platform for artists, entrepreneurs, and influencers whose stories were often sidelined by mainstream media. Now, after 15 years of building stars and sparking nationwide conversations, the franchise is preparing its final season for the fans. Now, they said the 6-part series will feature brand new interviews with iconic cast members from every city in the franchise history. can expect to see familiar faces from New York, Atlanta, Hollywood, and Miami as they sit down and unpack the most talked about moments and confront the controversies that define their careers. The event will also go behind the scenes, featuring the producers and executives, including the legendary Mona Scott Young, who pioneered filming the lives of hip hop's elite, cultural critics, and journalists who have tracked the show's evolution, which also will also weigh in examining how a show about rising stars turned into a business empire that launched household names like, of course, Cardi B and Jocelyn Hernandez. I think out of all of them, Cardi B is the one who basically benefited the most from um the franchise because she's the biggest thing to come out of that show. At least that's all I can think of. But we got so many people from the show like Amarla Negra. Then we got, of course, Jason Lee. Jason Lee came from Love and Hip Hop too, and was able to parlay, going from being the messy, blogger and friend or whatever of Hazel Lee to building his own little empire with Hollywood Unlocked and going into the political aspirations and all that stuff. So we've gotten a lot of people that have come out of this show. I built child know what Carly Red gonna do because that lady will show up to an envelope opener at this damn point. She been on the show since the beginning, I think. She been on there so long, she might as well have been. So, unfortunately, the show, it looks like, look, everything that has a beginning has an end, as always I have to say, is what I said on that. And I don't even think, look, first, they got Basketball Wives is going. But I was like, that show ran its course. Now we have Love and Hip Hop ran its course. Now it's like, and I always feel like this type of, look, Jersey Shore about to go away after this, their final season, which they've been promoting. And so now I feel like at this point, a lot of the stuff that I kind of came up in the trenches of in the 2010s, it's like, yeah, we at the end of the road. It's time to move on. People ain't really watching these shows like that no more. I don't even think they was really quiet as it's kept. A lot of people really wasn't watching Love and Hip Hop like that. I even tried to jump back into it. This is around the controversy of Erica Mena being racist. Remember that season? They done kicked her off. So I was trying to get back into the show and watching it. And I just realized that it comes a point where I just outgrew the whole Love and Hip Hop experience. I've outgrown the Basketball Wives type stuff. I can't even get into the whole baddie stuff. I still don't understand people who still watch that mess. It's like that whole era of you gotta, in order to get famous, you gotta beat the shit out of people, which Zeus definitely continues to promote over there until somebody ends up unalive, and then he ends up in a world of lawsuits. And then, of course, that'll be the rock bottom that Lemmy, long head ass self, gonna have to face in order for him to walk away from, or his empire to be crumbled, come to crumble or whatever. I can't even think of the phrase. In order for his empire to crumble is what I'm trying to say. It's like I'm getting tongue tied tonight. Um, but yeah, and then next I feel like it's gonna be these housewives because I'm like at this point the housewives it's the same crap over and over, but yet they continue to create franchises, and I feel like a lot of these other shows have kind of run its course. I mean, I don't know how Atlanta's doing. I haven't watched Atlanta yet, even though they got K Michelle over there now. And who knows? Maybe some of them speaking of which, maybe them loving hip hop people will probably go over there since they took K Michelle from Love and Hip Hop, and now she's on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Maybe that'll work over there on that whole situation. Just don't be up in here fist fighting. That they don't tolerate that. So but then and then also I finally got around to seeing the trailer for remember the Housewives of New York? They're doing a show over there on E. I forgot what it's called. But they brought up a lot of the OGs from the Real Housewives of New York. They have a reality show. I finally saw the trailer, but it's the same old shit they was doing on the Housewives of New York before they decided to chop the legacy cast and bring on that boring new group of girls. And now they just officially got rid of the New York cast for good. So sorry to hear that Love and Hip Hop is sashaying away, but look, like they said before, everything eventually runs its course, and Paramount decided to move on. And it's best to go out now than go out when you on your last legs, which quiet as it's kept. That's where you was heading, Love and Hip Hop. So it'll be interesting to see who they get up there to interview because it would be dumb if well, I don't know if Jocelyn would come back and want to talk, especially all the shit shade she was throwing at Mona and all of them. But I could definitely see Cardi B coming back because if it wasn't for her going on Love and Hip Hop, her career wouldn't be where she wouldn't be able to transition from that, and her career wouldn't be what it is today. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? When you heard this tea, I mean, when you heard this tea about the whole Love and Hip Hop being canceled, that sort of thing, now they're going to come out with a speaking to people about what it was like being on the show, all that good stuff. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. You know, a man lost his life. I had no idea. Oh, that's from Love and Hip Hop. That's that same damn commercial that would always pop up whenever I'm ready to fast forward from Drag Race. I said that commercial so many damn times. And you said Spice actually had potential before she joined this foolishness. But thank you for giving us Cardi and Cardi B fight clips. Okay. Because that reunion episode is iconic. We want that reason. You said I'll be back. You said it'll be back. Nothing ever actually goes away in Hollywood. Oh yeah, just ask Sandra Bullock. Well, they'll manifest. They'll try to evolve it into something else, or maybe Mona will come up with a new show. Maybe Mona should just stick with managing Busta Rhymes and Missy Elliott, and then she could produce like black-led movies or whatever the case is. All right, y'all. So now let's get into this Blake Lively story. So apparently, Blake, as we spoke about it yesterday, Blake Lively and Joseph Baldoni, they settled. They came on some stupid ass, lame ass joint statement regarding why they've decided to settle. Well, first of all, quiet as it's kept, they didn't really give a good enough damn reason on why they settled in the first place. But and it took me a minute to put this story together because I had to dig up some old stuff in regard of like how Blake was coming across very contradictory in a lot of ways, and like I'm still standing 10 toes down on the fact that she and her damn husband were trying to steamroll over Justin and take over his movie. And how there were people pissed because his original Cudi was trying to be as faithful to the book, and Colleen Hoover, weak ass, decided to go along with Blake and Ryan because they were the more powerful figures, and she just wanted to get her shit made instead of just letting the guy who, yes, he doesn't have that much experience. He directed a couple episodes on TV and this, that, and the other. Yes, he's not a big enough name, but he was going to be faithful to the book and transition it the way it needed to be transitioned to the movie. She should have just let him do what he was going to do instead of just jumping on the side of Blake and all of them because she wanted her little book turned into a movie. So Blake Lively's Hollywood career has been ruined by her long-standing legal war with her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni, according to insiders. I should also point out that they said that the reason why she settled before she all of a sudden decided to show up at the Met Gala yesterday, because hours before this whole thing was I was after it was announced that she settled with Justin. She decided to run over there and show up at the on the carpet to get photo for the Met Gala, which goes to show that it wasn't even about the Met Gala or whatever. This is basically you trying to rehabilitate your image. So, according to Radar Online, they said high-end sources claim that the Gossip Girl actress, I should say, 38, will struggle to rebuild her reputation following the fallout with Baldoni, who's 42, which finally came to an end on Monday when the pair settled before the case went to trial. Also heard, according to reports, she ain't getting no financial anything from this whole situation. So she basically walked away with nothing. Now, hours later, Lively kickstarted her bid to win over major power players in the industry by making a surprise appearance at the Met Gala, accessorizing her gown with a custom-made purse decorated by her kids' artwork, perhaps in a bid to exhibit her softer side. Well, honey, I would like you to exhibit your softer side when you actually on the damn movie set. Don't do it because you want to get in the good graces of the media. But according to a Disney Studios exec, Lively will struggle to resurrect her standing in Hollywood, no matter what tactics she deploys. A source told the Daily Mail, they said, quote, "The lawsuit has ruined her in Hollywood. The truth is, she was never that popular." She has a reputation for being difficult, one of those toxic people who always think she knows best. Well, it was definitely given that from what we was hearing in regards to the whole situation regarding her and Justin. And then the whole marketing behind the film, when she was going over trying to promote her liquor line and all this other stuff. And I'm like, sis, do you not know what this movie's about? And you're promoting things that is totally against what this film is about, and you making it about you because now you trying to follow in the footsteps of your husband who got these little side businesses like Mint Mobile and all other stuff, which helped him become a billionaire. It wasn't just from him being one note with his lame ass jokes and playing Deadpool 3 times. He actually was making money from Mint Mobile and jumping into all these other, endorsements and business deals. Now, the insider added the general view now is that she's made her bed and she can lie in it. I don't think people in Hollywood are shedding tears over her. Now, and look, I always said y'all can get Micah Monroe, who looked just like Blake Lively. Y'all could get her to fill in to give the roles that it's kind of like when we talk about Austin Abrams. You can't get Timothy Chalamet. You get Austin Abrams and bring him in, and because they kind of similar, but both good actors, both similar in height and frame. So you get him. If you can't get Timothy Chalamet, you go to him. You can't get Blake Lively, one note acting ass. You go and get Micah Monroe. Who knows? She's been busy with the horror stuff, but she was also in a Colleen Hoover book turned into a movie called, what is it called? Reminders of Him or something with my other husband Tyreek Withers. So who was also at the Met Gala. Yeah, everybody was at the damn Met Gala yesterday. Apparently. Well, not everybody, but just everybody who's done like smaller films because they couldn't get no real big A-listers up in there. Only a few. So on Monday, May 4th, Lively's counsel. Wait, hold on. Did I miss one? They talking about how they were battling it out after the actress filed a harassment lawsuit, blah, blah, blah. Y'all already know all that tea. So they said on Monday, May 4th, Lively's counsel, Michael Gottlieb and Ezra Hudson, and Wayfair lawyers, Brian Friedman and Ellen Garofalo, issued a joint statement confirming the statement or the settlement. And here's a lame ass statement. The end product, the movie It Ends With Us, is a source of pride to all of us who work to bring it to life, raising awareness and making a meaningful impact in the lives of domestic or DV survivors and all survivors is a goal that we stand behind. Well, clearly you didn't complete the goal because if it was all about the DV survivors, you should have took the shit to trial. But quiet as it's kept, I don't think there were some things that were about her that she wanted to have come out. And I'm gonna get to that in a second. But let me finish what they said. We acknowledge the process presented challenges and recognize concerns raised by Ms. Lively deserve to be heard. The statement continued. We remain firmly committed to workplaces free of impropriety, and unproductive environments. It is our sincere hope that this brings closure and allows all involved to move forward constructively and in peace, including a respectful environment online. Now, the terms of the agreement have yet to be revealed, which we talked about yesterday. So I'm like, this was some bullshit, and this was a weak ass statement. Now, following Lively's original filing in December 2024, Baldoni, who co-starred with the movie star and directed It Ends With Us, will respond with his own 400 million countersuit against her and her husband, Ryan, her possessive ass husband, Ryan Reynolds, allegedly. Now, however, things didn't go well for Baldoni off the bat, as in June of 2025, his lawsuit was tossed out by a judge. Baldoni's 250 million defamation lawsuit against the New York Times was also dismissed. But things shifted in Baldoni's favor just 1 month ago after U.S. District Judge Louis Lyman booted 10 of Lively's 13 claims, including her allegations of harassment, defamation, and conspiracy, leaving over only a lesser claim of retaliation, aiding and abetting in retaliation and breach of contract. Because she was saying that he would say inappropriate things about around her, and that's not a form of harassment. That's a form of just being inappropriate or saying inappropriate things, which is known to happen on movie sets. I've been on enough movie sets. Well, yeah, and work and being at VH1, the way that we all talked around each other, I'm like, y'all can talk like this in this type of environment. And then you had to realize that this type of company is not the same as like working in a corporate office or whatever. Everybody kind of, it's more of a relaxed way of speaking around each other. But now everybody want to have these little Me Too moments because they want a moment. And I'm not saying that you don't need to report on when you're being harassed and stuff, because there's a difference between like different things of harassment, like quid pro quo and all those things. There's levels to it. But me talking about like making dick jokes or whatever, how's that fucking harassment? That's me making a joke, an inappropriate joke, but nevertheless. Now, at the time, Judge Lyman declared the judge would still get to hear the Gossip Girl alum's retaliation claims that Baldoni, 42, allegedly hired a team of publicists to plant negative stories about her. Now, an insider also claimed Lively believes there are top of the line filmmakers who could give her a second chance, as most people in the industry are steering clear of her. Even Piers Morgan had claimed Lively was destroying her brand with this ridiculous case. That's what I was saying. And that's what they said that okay, they said the nasty fight even had some turning against Lively with bullying allegations against her and her husband Reynolds. According to sources, the pair had even discussed moving to the UK. How is that gonna make things better? But my response to the situation is the following. I wrote the emails that were unleashed last week put unsealed, sorry, put Blake and her obnoxious husband under very bad light. The fact that Ryan was trying to use his money, power, and influence to take over Justin's film, and Blake even admitted that Ryan wrote a scene for that film. According to reports, he even tried to restructure the DV scene that's crucial to the narrative of the book. And according to TMZ, they revealed that Blake sent an email asking a Sony executive to destroy some of the dailies from the film. Let's also not forget that Blake also asked Taylor Swift to delete her text message exchange where they talked negatively about Justin. So if Ms. Lively is such a hashtag Me Too victim, then why did she have to go through drastic measures to cover her ass? Then, hours before she dropped her case, she decided to go to the Met Gala. Fuck out of here with this performance. I'm a victim on set bullshit because you're using the Met Gala photos op to rehabilitate your image. So with all the egomaniacal grandizing, there was no way they could risk a trial with all that mess made public. Now Blake is not intelligent enough to artfully explain her actions to a shark attorney during cross-examination, even though she was out here claiming she was looking forward to presenting her case in front of a jury. Now she had a reputation of for being difficult, one of those toxic people who always thinks she knows best. As for Justin, I wouldn't have settled. She may be able to get work after all of this, whether now the audience desire, now whether the audience decides to support her or not, that remains to be seen. But, the one thing I also wonder is that will Justin recover from the aftermath of everything that has been going down in this whole situation? So, in a way, I'm glad that it's over, that it's behind us. I hate the fact that y'all dragged this damn thing out for so long, only for this to be the epic conclusion. It's like a lackluster season finale. Y'all built this shit up to be like this epic season finale, and I'm like, that's it? It's literally, you know what this is giving? This whole Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni is literally Stranger Things season 5. Y'all hyped that shit up to be like the best thing since sliced bread, and then all of a sudden we watch the episode. I'm like, I want to do over. So, um, whatever, child. I'm sure there'll be more stuff coming on as it develops, but like at this point, I do feel like it's a little too late. Blake, you done fucked up your career at this point. I mean, maybe people will forgive and forget and move on because people do have the mindset of the memories of a gnat. Like y'all don't really retain information as long as we used to. So maybe people will move on from it, but we'll just have to see that the next time Blake Lively decides to get behind a camera and has a new movie come out, we'll see how well it does. But quiet as it's kept, she's never been that girl that was like a big box office drawer. The reason why This Ends With Us did well because of it's based on a book. And people are now going to support books to movies, especially when it comes to women not really having much um they don't have much stuff to look forward to in regards of movies that speak to them, which is why you see films like um what was it, The Memories of Him, or whatever the name of that movie was, the other Colleen Hoover book to movie. It Ends With Us. Most recent, the Michael movie, which most women came out for that, and then recently The Devil Wears Prada too. Why that was successful? Because women there's a void that needs to be filled in regards of getting women to theaters to see movies, and this fills that void. So you weren't the reason why people came to see the movie. They came to see the movie because they love the book and they want to see if how well the book was going to be being transitioned to the whole movie situation. So we'll just have to see the next time she drops something, if it's successful. If it's not, then she could just fall back on Ryan's money. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's move on from another thorn in everybody, from one thorn in the ass to another one. And let's talk about M.I.A. So apparently, yesterday we revealed that M.I.A. went on some rant at one of the, I think it was the Dos Equis Pavilion in Dallas, on because she was one of the opening acts for Kid Cudi's new tour. I think it's called the Rebel Rangers tour, whatever. And so M.I.A. was on the tour. She had started saying some stuff that people deemed as anti-immigrant, and shortly after, Kid Cudi fired her from the tour. And so now she has taken to social media and she's gone on this little rant saying that she's being crucified for her words. When the reality is, M.I.A., you have been notorious for talking, putting your foot in your mouth since the beginning of your career. I understand like she had the background where she was a Sri Lankan refugee who had to leave Sri Lanka, and then they had her and her family basically migrated to London, and that's where she grew up, and then went to a art school, whatever the case was, and was going to go start touring, and she was using her art to make music, and then she decided to go back to Sri Lanka and get into activism and started getting into all these things, and people were talking about how she was speaking and she was a pro-terrorist and all that stuff. Look, there's a whole deep dive that I went on this lady in regards of trying to remember stuff about M.I.A. And people feel like, well, y'all really ain't been paying close attention to her lyrics and a lot of stuff she said, because we all got seduced by the beat that she was doing, where she would bring like world beats up in her music, dance music, and hip hop. So she was incorporating all these different sounds of her music, and we got seduced by the beats and stuff, but we wasn't really paying attention to the lyrics. And then years later, she decided to get indoctrinated with giving out conspiracies regarding COVID and being pro-Trump, and giving the middle finger at the Super Bowl when you performing for Madonna, and now a fine has to be paid because you thinking that you could just get up there. I like giving the middle finger. It's like, bitch, this ain't your show. Number one, just like the thing with Kid Cudi, this ain't your concert, so you can't do what you want to do when you're not the headliner. You're a guest. So when you coming over here to America and you doing things on our soil, you have to follow the rules. You can't be up here trying to act like you're a rebel rouser and you miss underground independent, and you want a piece of the mainstream pie, but you don't want to follow the precautions or the protocol that comes with that mainstream pie, because you can't just get it willy-nilly. You got to bring them knee pads out if you want to be you want to, what is it, you want to be famous, you want that fame, because fame costs. The right here is all painted in fame and sweat, or whatever the hell it was that Debbie Allen said. You got dreams, you want fame, well, fame costs, and right here you better start paying in pain and sweat. It's funny how after the fact, when I relaxed, it came to me. I didn't look it up. It just all of a sudden popped in my head because I was a fan of that show. So yeah, she came in, she said what she said, but let's get into the story, and let me just stop rambling. Let's get right into the story. So, controversial rapper M.I.A. repeatedly invoked religion. Oh yeah, because now all of a sudden she found the Lord. Because one time she went on Candace Owens' show, and they sat and spoke for 3 hours about how she saw Jesus and all this other mess. And now she got a new album out called MI7, where it's literally all like a religious record. And I told you, I listened to like 3 songs. And I was like, oh, MIA got a new album out. Let me check it out. Even though I know she controversial, whatever the case is. I was like, let me listen. Album is straight up ass. Don't even waste your time listening to that foolishness. And so yeah, so she invoked religion as she tangled with social media users, saying she was crucified for words after she was let go from let go, Chad, you was fired. Um from Kid Cudi's Rebel Rages tour on Monday. The British-born Sri Lankan star, who's 50, was fired from the musical Trek after bringing up her right-leaning politics, while on stage Saturday in a move that irritated fans in Dallas. She said, I am secure in Christ and I know how Satan operates. This is what she said via Twitter on Monday after she was let go. Truth seekers build churches inside themselves. Glory to God. So what they got to do with the price of tea in China. So now, after voicing sentiments about illegal immigrants and being a Republican, even though she can't even vote in the United States because she ain't born here, um, and she ain't a citizen, I should say. M.I.A. told a booing Texas crowd at the Dos Equis Pavilion, I've been canceled for many reasons. I never thought I would be canceled for being a brown Republican voter. Child, quiet as it's kept. Do you not paying attention? The white folks don't like brown people, especially if you're a Republican. That's an oxymoron. I mean, quiet as it's kept, the Democrats take the brown vote for granted, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Now, the artist who, well, we don't need to go into what Matangi's whole name is, then allegedly said that she couldn't perform her 2010 single, Illy Girl, Variety reported, or song, I should say, as it's about the spirit of migrants and immigrants, because of some of you could be in the audience. What kind of bullshit is that? I mean, there's so many people that sing songs about or say free Palestine that are pro immigration. You hear them speak about it in speeches, or they'll cover a song that is all about equality, whatever the case is. You could have sang the song. You would have left the part off where it said, I can't sing my song Illy Girl because it's about the spirit of migrants and immigrants, and some of y'all in the audience might be migrants and immigrants. It seemed like you just trying to say something controversial just to provoke um an argument or to get people riled up. Just sing the goddamn song and shut the fuck up. Like, if you don't know how to articulate your political ideologies, then don't speak on it. Just get up there, do your 2, 3, 4, 5 songs, and get off the goddamn stage. Now, the Daily Mail had reached out to her and her reps, blah, 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 so on and so on. Now, shortly after a clip of the performance went viral on social media, Cudi excuse me, issued a statement confirming that M.I.A. had been dropped from the rest of the tour. Now, here's what he said. He said M.I.A. is no longer on this tour. When a user appeared to condemn the Give Me All Your Lovin' performer, not one of the worst songs of Madonna you want to attach her to. Well, she is on it. Performer support for President Donald Trump on Monday, M.I.A. pointed out statistics from the November U.S. 2024 election to say she was speaking for a large group of voters. She said, don't be an agent of division. I can't vote in the U.S., and 48% of Latin community voted Trump. So are you going to hate them? Well, child, if you've been paying attention to actual people and not the local news or CNN or MS piece of shit NBC, there been a lot of people out here that have been calling out the I will vote for Donald Trump Hispanics who were voting based on they thought that that was going to give them close proximity to whiteness. And then when they all started getting rounded up and were treated like Jews in the Holocaust, then they decided to change their tune. So if you're going to tell it correctly. Don't sit up here and bring up old tired ass statistics of when things were fresh and new. How we bring it to now on how the country is feeling not in favor of the president on all topics. So if you're going to talk about stuff, why it's like she wants to get into politics, or she always talks politics, but she's so ill-informed on a lot of what's going on. She just sounds like a fucking idiot. I can't stand when smart people or people who are dumb try to sound smart, because we can literally see that you lack logical, critical thinking or intelligence. And then I remember, wasn't it something or another that she said that we need to all sit down and have like real conversations with people instead of just bashing them and all this stuff. And I've always said I'm down for having a debate with people if you're misinformed. But if you're one of those people, and clearly she is, because I've seen examples of this, that you don't want to hear it. I'm going against a brick wall. It's literally what I said yesterday, when I'm going up against a brick wall and you're being combative and you're purposely fighting against the information and the facts that I'm giving you. then I'm no longer interested in engaging with you because you're not interested in engaging. You're interested in spewing propaganda and picking a fight. You're not interested in having a logical conversation. So I'm done. And that's clearly what this girl is. I don't know if it got to do with the fact that you went through a nasty relationship situation and you got your kid taken away from you and that fucked up your head and made you go mental. I don't know if that got anything to do with it, but whatever your traumas and stuff is, get right with it and stop spewing propaganda and stuff. You have to realize you can say whatever you want to say on your stage when you're funding the situation and you're doing your thing, but there's consequences to the things that you're saying. And this is not your show. This is Kid Cudi's show. They're there because fans are not there to necessarily see M.I.A. You on the bill. They there to see Kid Cudi, and you fucking up their vibe with your bullshit. So that's not why these people are there. It's kind of like, yeah, when I go to see certain shows, I don't be knowing some of these artists, but if the performers or whatever doing what they doing, I'll listen to their music and until we get to the main act. But if you're going to cause a situation where money is going to be affected, then yes, bitch, you got to go. Now, she went on to say, we must unite to make this country that everyone wants to live in a better place. Well, girl, you need to have that conversation with these oligarchs that are literally going out here cutting all types of funding for people to survive and using money to want to funnel a war that we didn't ask for. And people could barely live, people living paycheck to paycheck. Gas is now damn near $7, which we ain't never had that shit ever happen because of what's happening with the Strait of Hormuz and all that stuff. So these are things we need to be looking at, but you don't understand none of that. So, but yeah, she went on this whole rant of Twitter or whatever. I don't give a shit what she had to say. But then she initially replied in a fiery statement on Twitter claiming that her words had been twisted before calling it the work of Satan. God, now she's one of these old psychotic religious folks. Now, she also defended immigrants and said that her comments about her song Illy Girl were in reference to members of her team and their visas and not about those in the audience. Well, maybe you just need to learn how to articulate your words better. Because these people don't know people on your team or what's going on behind the scenes of the people working with you. We don't understand none of that. These people are there. They got drinks. They're dealing with overpriced food from the concessions and all that other shit. And they already spent a shit ton of money on their ticket. And they're already dealing with a whole lot of politics going on, especially what's going on in Texas. Ain't not necessarily sunshine and rainbows going on in Texas at this point. So they don't want to be dealing with the craziness of the world. They want to go there and just take their mind off of stuff and rage out. And here you come with all this political shit while you live in the life of luxury. And that's the funny part. This lady got a whole lot of money. She's successful in so many other ways. She ain't hurting for no coins. Or maybe she is. Who knows? But and here you go spewing this bullshit. But you don't know what it's really like to struggle. You ain't had to struggle in 20 years of you having a career. Or when did she become famous? In the 2010. So like 20 years. And we get it. You have, you're very progressive in your thinking regarding, politics and all this other stuff. But like I said, she's always had moments of and the one thing I've always liked about M.I.A. was that, yeah, she was very progressive in her ideologies and her thought process and some of the stuff that she spoke on in her music. But I don't know what happened between then and she decided to take this hard pivot into right-wing politics. So, whatever, girl. And this whole fake bullshit that you got um going on these right winger Candace Owen type shows and all that other mess. So yeah, girl, go eat a bag of dicks. So I say all this to say, so yeah, you made your bed, lie in it. It is what it is. You said what you said, now you gotta suffer the consequences. Hope you can find some way to make money because you ain't gonna make it in the United States of America because I don't know anybody that's gonna go pay to see your ass. You literally a part of this whole, what's that term that I just learned? Um, blue dot fever. She definitely got a case of that. So I definitely want to hear from y'all regarding this story. Do you think that it was the right decision on Kid Cudi's part? to fire her over a lot of misinformation and ignorant comments she was making about immigrants. If that was the case, you could have explained it a whole lot better, but you failed at it. And instead of you really trying to have empathy in this whole situation on Twitter and speaking on what you spoke on, you decided to stand 10 toes down on your bullshit, which makes it worse. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. What songs was she spitting pro-terrorist propaganda? A lot of people said that a lot of the stuff that she was saying in regards to the pro-terrorist propaganda is on her debut album, Aralar. So when I was watching this video, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Cause I was on YouTube and there was this girl that did a whole breakdown of, oh, I see like Kim Petras dropping a whole lot of videos now. Let me see, because I was watching before I went live. Um, yeah, where'd it go? There's a girl by the name of Emma Chang Credit. Is it Cradle or Credi? Kredi or Kredl, whatever the case is. And she did a video, and this was literally months ago, like 6 months ago. And it literally said, like, the headline is "The Messy Politics of M.I.A." So I sat and watched that. It was like a good maybe 30 to 40 minutes where she breaks down a lot of the history of her and her background and where she came from and stuff. It's on YouTube. Well, I feel like I'm losing my voice. I just feel like, with this weather, I mean, it was nice out today. It was like damn near 80 degrees. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta take that out. All right, so now let's get back into some more hot topics. And let's talk about Randy Jackson. So, child, apparently Randy Jackson came on to American Idol as a mentor. Now, child, I don't personally care about American Idol. I ain't watched that show in the month of Sundays. The type of music now that they gear to. Now, talk about a show that's longer than two that need to be canceled. That's one of them. But I guess Middle America votes is enough, or conservative, whatever. Lord, they putting the roots on my throat because I was talking about American Idol. Excuse me. So yeah, but yeah, he recently appeared on American Idol, and people was basically talking about his appearance, which, child, that man looked like he got both feet in the grave and one ass cheek. So, see, this is because I'm out here talking. Now they done put the roots on my throat. So yeah, he was a guest mentor on yesterday's episode. So Randy Jackson returned to American Idol to serve as a guest mentor for the season 24 top five during the May 4th episode. And I heard they eliminated two people yesterday. So that was down to three. Now, ahead of the contestants' live performance this week, they got to meet with Jackson, who critiqued their rehearsals and gave them advice. Now, viewers who saw footage from the meeting with Jackson found his appearance quite shocking. They said, "Is Randy Jackson okay? Looks and sounds so weak," one person wrote on X. Kind of like, the one thing I have to say about this industry, y'all will literally wheel somebody out when they like on they to their last breath, put them on stage, and then we sit up here and be like, God damn, what happened to him? Same thing they just did with CNN interviewing Barney Frank. Now Barney Frank looked like he is half past dead, and they went and put him on camera so that way he could talk about the Democratic Party, which quiet as is kept is cooked. But these corporate centrist Democrats is what I'm talking about, not the progressives. Now, but yeah, so one person said he looks okay. I mean, does he look? I mean, is he okay? Looks and sounds so weak. Someone else agreed, adding, Randy Jackson does not look well. Now, another person wrote, Randy Jackson can't even stand up. He's so frail. And someone else said, I know Randy Jackson had gastric bypass, but what is wrong with him to look so ill? Another commenter added, Randy Jackson looking really ill. It's great seeing him again, but I am worried. There was also a Reddit thread about Jackson in the American Idol sub saying, sorry if I missed something about his health, but It's sad, the original poster noted. Jackson was previously diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 2002. He lost over 100 pounds after having a gastric bypass surgery the following year. He also had spinal surgery for a back injury in 2019. Now, in fact, well, if he had spinal injury, maybe he hasn't recovered from that, and so maybe he can't stand up for long, so he has to sit because getting spinal surgery is quite dangerous. So I don't know. Maybe that's a symptom. Now, um, but with a lot of gastric bypass and them Ozempic and all that other stuff that these people be taking, they always talk about all the risk that comes with that. Now, in fact, they said he's on Name That Tune, and I've been saying for years how he looks super sick. Now, Jackson seemed excited to be back on the show and working with the top 5, though his fellow U.S. judge Paula Abdul was also part of it. I was about to say, y'all shouldn't have had him on there. You should have had Paula. But now they talking about Paula was there. She was a guest judge with Carrie Underwears, Luke Bryan, and Lionel Richie. Now, it's a pivotal point in the competition as the 3 singers with the most votes will earn the chance to sing in the finale, while the bottom 2 will be eliminated at the end of the night. So, the season 24 finale is going to air next week on May 11th, if y'all give a damn. But this is actually sad to hear that Randy Jackson, I mean, whatever he's going through, that's his personal business. We don't need to know the details, and I don't want to be up in here talking ill of somebody, even though I did throw a couple of daggers and they put the roots on my throat, which is why I was damn near choking to death. But trying to get these reads out. But all jokes aside, it's like, look, people get sick. Whatever he's dealing with, he should be able to deal with it. But it's and sometimes if you're dealing with some type of ailment, you got to learn to say no to stuff. Like, don't come on TV if you feel like, I mean, if it's going to get to a place that people are going to be talking mess about you or speculating or whatever the case is, because that's the last thing you want to be running around having all these rumors and stuff spread about you. So whatever illness that he's going through or whatever he's dealing with, hopefully he gets it together, that he gets the medical help that he needs. But yeah, my thing is, if I'm sick, I'm not getting on no damn television. Y'all just gonna have to find somebody else. Maybe Simon Cowell, but Simon Cowell don't fuck with America Idol. Now he's all about America's Got Talent and all that other stuff. But then just excuse me, focus on getting Paula to come up in there. But if Randy, you sick, I understand. You know how a lot of people of a certain age, I want to be that workhorse. Y'all want to still be on TV and all that other stuff. But yeah, get well if there's any kind of health ailments going on, or maybe it's just he got that whole Al Sharpton look. Like they out here looking like a damn vegetable on 2 legs. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? What do you think may be the reason behind, um, you know, Randy Jackson's frail appearance? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I'm so ready for Detour. I just hope she doesn't. Child, she really expecting to have a flop if she decides to go up against Chanta. You better not, because the rumor is she's supposed to release it on July 3rd. Don't do it, Vita. In the words of Noxzema Jackson, Simon sucks. Nightmare Before Christmas. Ooh, not Nightmare Before Christmas. He said Randy looked like an old queen in the photo. Like it's giving like sassy old black homosexual man. He looks so ill. I hope he gets better. Because remember, there was people out here talking about Chadwick Boseman. Couldn't find out he had the cancer. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose now. He said, definitely on my way to work tomorrow. I'm definitely gonna have to get some damn core drops because they put the roots on us. Like, bitch, how dare y'all? I have a relative who had back surgery and she still can't walk, but she's Not because, but she's old. But yeah, I've heard that like there's people who've had spinal surgery, and I think I might know somebody. Maybe I heard a story. I can't remember exactly, but they had spinal surgery, and then their back was all fucked up from it. So I don't know. When I saw Randy last night without focusing on the TV, but when I saw Randy, I immediately started to focus to make sure. My eyes were not deceiving me. I hope he makes a statement. Yeah, because people, let's normalize seeing folks in less than perfect health. Yes, we should. But, I feel like maybe people would just they seem genuinely concerned. I hope they were genuinely concerned and not just out here trying to be shady. But um get well, Randy. Because I grew up watching American Idol, so well, they say he didn't. Well, I don't know if he's still like because there's some people that will get like the sleeve well, they said he got gastric bypass because I remember when he got that. So he went and got the gastric bypass surgery. But some of these people they'll go out here and they'll do the Ozempic on top of that other stuff so they can maintain the weight loss. Because I've heard some people get them sleeves of the gastric bypass and they'll eat right through it and gain it back. What's that mean? The 30-day sale by 2 days. You said I don't know why they don't start the $25 concert week. Concert tickets need to go back to $25. They're overly expensive for no damn reason. But anyway, how many more topics we got? Okay. So we did our final four. Before we get to our final four topics, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that we know when we go live with a brand new episode of Kris Avalon Unfiltered. We also have super chats, super stickers. We also have you can hype the channel, all that good stuff. So help out with the show, the algorithm, all of that. Please and thank y'all. Now, without further ado, let's get into this Kim Zolciak Kroy Biermann mess. So apparently Kim has spoken out because this is the second time she has been given, that temporary custody of the children have been awarded to Kroy, which has people out here looking like, oh, she's probably a horrible mother, and Kroy might be in the right to treat her or be doing whatever he's doing. But so Kim Zolciak spoke out, and now she's breaking her side of the story because we didn't get that the last time we spoke about it. So Kim spoke about out after temporarily losing primary physical custody of her four kids well, they said ex-husband. They ain't divorced yet, they still married. So it ain't ex. That's her husband. Kroy Biermann in a new ruling in their ongoing legal battle. Now, court documents obtained by the Daily Mail on Friday show a judge granted Biermann's emergency request regarding custody of their children, Kroy Jr., who's 14, Cash, who's 13, and twins Kaya and Kane, who's 12, after he alleged Zolciak was unstable and unfit. Now, despite the decision, the former couple will continue to share joint legal custody, meaning both retain formal decision-making rights. However, Biermann has been awarded final authority over major issues, including education, non-emergency medical care, and religious upbringing. Now, under the agreement, both parents will also maintain scheduled parenting time, with the children set to split time between households on alternating weekends. Now, the former Real Housewives of Atlanta star responded to the ruling in a statement to the Daily Mail and also addressed the situation on her Instagram stories on Monday. She began, the senior judges, she said a retired judge, decision from April 29th is temporary until we return to court as soon as possible when will have the opportunity for a full hearing. The message continued. The new order was the result of an alleged emergency motion filed by Kroy to ensure the matter was heard by a senior judge instead of our duly elected assigned judge, who was never granted Kroy an immediate hearing despite him filing three separate false motions against me. The decision rendered by the senior judge was largely a result of a flawed investigation by a guardian ad item who what she said, an ad guardian ad litem who has not spoken to me in over a year until a brief call with me and my attorney on April 28th on my oldest boys since July of 2025. While I want the process to be over for my children more than anything, I am looking forward to a full court date when we will finally be provided with the opportunity to present the truth. Now, they also said that the Daily Mail also reached out to Kroy's attorneys and reps and all that other stuff. Child, I didn't even know he had reps, but okay. Um, Now, the ruling comes amid escalating tensions between the former couple, with Biermann filing emergency motions earlier this month in which he accused Zolciak of neglect and claims she is prioritizing her public image and career prospects over the children's welfare. Now, in his filing, he alleged she is more selfishly concerned with her own image and her work options than their children's well being. Well, I could understand the whole image thing because that's part of being a reality star. She got to be all glammed up and looking fabulous and running around going on dates with these men with money. But also, she has an obligation because she has to work. So she has to go off and do these reality shows. Kroy, what are you doing? Besides sitting on that snack table you call an ass and doing whatever it is that you're doing. You ain't working. You a retired football player. Now with Kim, and I'm not saying that she's on saint either, but I understand she has to work. She still, as a reality star, has to find a way to accumulate an income so she can support herself and her lifestyle and them 4 kids. Because clearly the money ain't coming out of you. So I totally understand that. But if you're going to be in a situation where she has to go off and travel and there's deals that are made in the whole court situation, meaning that she has to go out of the country and film this show for a month or that show for a couple of weeks, she needs to, I say through her attorney, because clearly there's no talking, there's no way these two can communicate with each other like civilized human beings. Use your lawyer to let them know that, okay, well, she got a gig. She got to go, like, okay, let's say she about to be on a Traders whatever season is coming up. She just got picked to be on the Trader season 4. Um, she has to go to live in Scotland and work out there for like a month and film. So I'm gonna be gone. Now you get to have the kids or whatever the case is, but whatever's going on in this, that, and the other, let me know through your attorney because I want to hear from your ass because every time, I have a disdain sight of your behind because of what you went through. But then again, y'all decided to make this bed amongst each other where y'all were kind of like thumbing your nose up at everybody else, like y'all shit didn't stink when y'all were madly in love and y'all had this fairy tale relationship and now the shit's hit the fan. Now you want sympathy and empathy. So I don't feel no ways tired about y'all both. Quiet as it's kept. So now the athlete also argued that all 4 children should be living under one roof, describing Zolciak as unstable and unfit. Well, if I'm getting a divorce from you, we living under the same roof. And when y'all was living under the same roof, because I remember when I've been reporting this story ad nauseum, y'all were living under the same roof. How many damn times the cops had to be called to the house? So that's not a stable environment to be living under one roof. Hopefully, Kim has a roof to stay up under, but I'm not living under the same roof with you. We tried that. And like I said, the cops was always at the house so many damn times because she would call and he would call for the dumbest shit. Then they said that the former Atlanta Falcons linebacker they were talking about how he adopted Brielle and Ariana and all that other stuff. Now, according to court documents obtained by the Daily Mail, Biermann asked a judge to transfer custody to him, alleging his wife had been flouting her parental responsibilities. In a court paper, Biermann accused the media personality of blatant mismanagement of basic parenting responsibilities that would be practically unbelievable to anyone not familiar with the circumstances. Zolciak refuted the claims in a statement shared with the Daily Mail through a rep, saying these accusations are completely false and nothing more than a deliberate attempt by Kroy to defame my character. I spent 5 weeks away working on 2 TV shows to support my family and make sure my children are cared for, something I will never apologize for. I refuse to be bullied or have lies twisted into a narrative about who I am. I will not stay silent. The truth is on my side and it will come to light no matter how hard anyone tries to bury it. Well, she, like I said before, is like Yeah, she's out here literally working and trying to make money for her and her children because clearly you ain't getting none of that damn money. Um, and that's what happened. But you need to communicate that. I know you feel a way about your husband or whatever the case is, and y'all don't like the sight of each other. But communication has to happen because it's not necessarily about you. There's kids involved. Kroy's looking for any reason to be nitpicky and to get all up in your situation, piss you off. So you got to find ways to curtail around that. Like I said, use your lawyer to speak for you or whatever the case is if you need to. So Biermann claimed in his filing that his ex had been traveling extensively out of the country and failed to parent their children on their agreed upon dates for February 26th through March 29th. And if those were the dates that she was running around flying across country filming reality shows so that way she can get a check and support herself and her children, she needs to have those receipts when they go before a judge to shut Kroy up because Kroy doesn't seem like he grasping at straws looking for stuff to pick on her about. This is a whole tit for tat situation. Just have that proof when you go to court, dot your I's, cross your T's, so that way you got your little situation situated. Now, we also alleged in the court paper that the only exception during that period was when Zolciak exercised her parenting time on the night of March 9th when one of their minor children was subject to a dog bite. Biermann additionally alleged in a court document that Zolciak entered into their temporary mediated parenting plan in bad faith, knowing at the time of agreement that she could not and in fact did not intend to adhere to the terms of agreement. He also accused her of fraud and deceit for pushing for the temporary agreement which gave them joint custody. The former athlete alleged that when Zolciak was in the country and parenting on her assigned days, she allowed their children to miss their scheduled therapy sessions. Furthermore, she claimed his ex failed to meet with her own therapist for the minimum required number of sessions and accuse her of lying to the therapist. But I'm like, I didn't know what the hell she said when she was with the therapist. Like you over here making accusations. Your role was said during that situation. That's private. Unless things got back to them. Unless it was a family dynamic situation that got back to them. Now, Biermann claims he was prepared to show, though expert in witness testimony, that Zolciak is both unstable and unfit as a custodial parent, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Well, we'll have to see. And they said they've been separated since 2023, which means, like I said, they still divorced. I mean, they still married. Well, look, at this point, it's a mess. Y'all need to figure out what the hell y'all need to do because this is a train wreck. Well, not we, but I will definitely be keeping abreast of the story as it develops. So when y'all get to go to the courtroom, we'll find out how the judge rules, who brought what evidence to the situation, and we'll take it from there. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this mess of a story? Whatever your thoughts are on this matter between these two attention whores, let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Say, where is it? Excuse me. Jesus Christ. I wish I had a cough drop. I'm gonna have to buy some tomorrow. Mm. I also noticed what helps what for the coughing. Gum. Mariah had that she had her stomach stated ill. Not go to the damn doctor. He said, I saw a tweet that Lady Gaga isn't evolving as a I mean is evolving as an artist. She's doing millennial gay pop, while Gen Z queer pop is angry, slutty, messy, and vulgar, and hyperpop, cyberpunk, and crank music. Well, she can't really do that because I feel like she's backed herself in a corner with um the type of music she has to do. So we can't see like if she jumps into trying to do that angry hyperpop type stuff, if she tries to go into like a Slater direction or whatever the case is, it's gonna look like it's gonna come off pretentious. Everybody blames her fiance for stunting her. Look, she sits and thanks that man every chance she gets. So maybe she's digmatized. Who knows? Chris and Kroy make me believe in karma again. He said maybe he's going to court and forbid him from doing reality TV. and working on. Could you imagine Kim trying to work a 9 to 5 when she joined the Housewives of Atlanta? She was a nurse who was getting taken care of by Big Papa. May he rest in peace. So she ain't trying to go back to that life. A lot of these people aren't trying to go back to that. They want to sit up in here and continue to, live the glamorous life. Watch the courts approve that. It's the kids or your TV career. Work McDonald's. Get the. Can you imagine Kim and them wigs under a hairnet working in a McDonald's? Mm-mm. She will never live that down. All right, y'all. Speaking of people who ain't gonna live it down because they full of shit. Let's talk about Ronnie Ortiz-Magro. So, Ronnie from Jersey Shore has spoken out and broken his silence, I guess you could say, in regards of the tea that came out about him. What we seen him doing an interview, I think it was with Spotify. No, it's not Spotify. It was what's that? Damn, what was what's the? I don't know why I can't think. Sirius. I don't know why I couldn't think of the other damn S. Sirius XM. He was doing an interview with the cast of Jersey Shore, and they had pictures. They were showing him like literally nodding off during the interview. So now he got an excuse as to what had happened to him while he was on that damn stage. Because apparently, high functioning depression caused you to nod off mid conversation. Yeah, okay. Is that what Trump got too? Because we been seeing him a lot lately, jumping around in the White House, sitting in the chair, doing this, while you got Pete Kegg's breath, and then the one that sound like he got a goddamn like 8 scrotals in his throat. What's his name? RFK Jr. Like he gargling 8 balls in his throat. When they be up there talking, Trump busy nodding off, falling asleep mid sentence, sitting there talking about opioids and then like doing that. And don't even realize the eyes are closed. Like, child, you ain't Asian. Like me being part Filipino, it's like, yeah, it do be looking like sometimes when I talk, my eyes be closed. It's the Asian side. But so I got an excuse. And I'll be falling asleep when I'm talking. First of all, I'm somebody that stays up late. But anyway, let me stop rambling and get to the story. So Jersey Shore star Ronnie Ortiz-Magro has spoken out after his concerning woozy behavior. I'm really a little woozy here. During a recent interview with the cast. Now, in a now viral video, the reality star appeared to doze off during the star's Sirius get together with his fellow cast members. No, see, now why? See, Siri heard me, and now she want to start up her mess. Um, get together with his fellow cast members, including Mike the Situation Sorrentino, Nicole Snooki Polizzi, Sammy Giancola, Dina Nicole Cortez, Angelina Povarnik, and Danny who the fuck is Danny Murphy? Maybe that's one of those. Now Ortiz, what I was like, wait, was Vinny there? I thought he was. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. But anyway, so Ortiz-Magro, who's 40, didn't get much sympathy from Sorrentino, seemingly blaming his conduct on depression in a series of posts on his Instagram story on Monday. He said, maybe he need to find something on social media to a lie to come up with in order to make this excuse. It ain't working, sis. So he said, high functioning depression is waking up each day with a face that works, but a heart that doesn't, doing everything you're supposed to do while feeling nothing inside. And most days, it's like being trapped in your own life, forced to keep moving even when every part of you wants to stop. This is what he wrote, quoting a message from an account called Tychus Poetry. So you're literally taking something from someone else's page, trying to pass it off as how you're feeling because you can't tell us the truth that allegedly you might have relapsed, you might be on them drugs. Because remember back in the day, Ronnie was on drugs and at one point had to leave Jersey Shore because of some deep rooted issues that he was dealing with. Next came a notice that said May is Mental Health Awareness Month. 1 in 4 people will suffer from some form of mental illness in a given year. Later, he shared a clip of NBA star Kyrie Irving being interviewed and stated, it's okay to be human. Like, I don't have to be perfect for anyone here, nor do I have to be perfect for the public. So I'm not here to dispel any perception. I'm just here to be myself. Well, how does that explain you passing out mid sentence holding a microphone? How does that explain this picture on the right? if you have all this stuff. Now, on April 23rd, the cast had gathered to promote the ninth and final season of Jersey Shore Family Vacation when Ortiz-Magro's eyes began to close and his shoulders slouched. It happened as Cortez, who's 39, was speaking about MTV being our home, saying, "We are so grateful to them. Now it's time to move on. We're just kind of finding a place to park at this point," she said, as the fans noticed Ortiz-Magro struggling in the background. Now, Ronnie swayed on his stool as Sorrentino, who was sitting next to him, said, "I think we're all very grateful, like Dina said. Maybe we'll follow in the Kardashians' footsteps as they went from cable to streaming." And quiet as it's kept, they ain't doing that well on Hulu. But of course, Hulu gonna keep that train running, even if the numbers ain't doing all that well over there. Now the fan allegedly. Now the fan account Housewives Hub reposted the clip on Twitter, writing, "Oh, Ronnie does not look well." The nodding off. Yeah, he definitely didn't look well. And there are people that are high functioning, people with depression that don't be looking like they're like that. Like you look like you're high. Meanwhile, fans speculate about what could be going on with the former MTV personality. Is he on? Child, they said the H word. They said, "Is he on heroin?" Because that causes the nodation. Um, to be nodding out like that, one person, that's one of the symptoms. One person asked, while another pointed out, "Mike is looking healthier, man. He should help him." Well, here's the thing. We already talked about that, where Mike was promoting, I guess, his wellness center or whatever the case was, and spoke about that what he had saw with Ronnie was disappointing, and he could do whatever he can. But like I've said before, when it comes with addicts, in the words of Morpheus from the Matrix, "I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it. So I can't force you to do something that you're not ready, willing, and able to do." Ronnie has to deal with whatever the issue, deep rooted issues that he has going on in his personal life. He has to come and face those issues and then seek the help that he needs to seek. I don't know if, like, with him having mental health issues, is he taking medication? Are the medications causing the side effects that would be him nodding off mid sentence? Or is the fact that, yeah, you are taking medications, but it's not prescribed by a doctor. It's prescribed by a street pharmacist. So we have many questions. We don't have any real understanding of what might be going on with him. He's giving us like this vague little answer or whatever, and we're just supposed to just go along with it, I guess. So yeah, oh yeah, so I do have Mike's quote. He did say, "I want to be clear that I'm not responsible for the actions of any other cast member. At the same time, my heart is heavy seeing that Ron, a grown adult, chose to present during press. The situation is still developing, and while I do not know the full extent of what he may be going through, I do know it is separate from my path." Mike's been clean and sober for a long time. So, and here's the thing, what I was talking about, where he halted filming of the Jersey Shore reboot because he got arrested for DV. He was placed under a 3-year protective order from his ex-girlfriend Jen Harley in order to take parenting classes. The following year, in 2022, he announced that he was 1 year sober, meaning that yes, drugs took a part in, or maybe it might have been alcohol. And we seen in that first season of Jersey Shore when Snooki got punched, that's when the ratings went through the roof because the show wasn't really doing that well until that happened. And then Ronnie went outside. They all went outside, and Ronnie went and punched that dude in the face, the one that hit Snooki. And so we know he prone to knocking somebody out. Now, this past March, TMZ reported that police were called to his Miami home to help his ex-girlfriend, Kirsten, peacefully remove her belongings. Now, a rep for the reality star, and remember, we saw how toxic his relationship was with Sammy on the show. So maybe he's definitely got a reputation for how he gets when it comes to being in relationships with women and how toxic those relationships can turn out. Now, a rep for the reality star later told the outlet he was in the process of separating from his long-term girlfriend, and it was at his request for her to call the police to ensure that the separation slash moving out was peaceful because he's been the recipient of falsehoods in the past and it is in really good place and is in a really good place and didn't want there to be any unnecessary drama. But I'm sitting there like, if you are in a good place, you change, then I'm like, yeah, just get your shit. Get your shit. Get your and get out. Y'all know where that's from. Exhale. Shout out to Bernadine. Um, that's what you should have did. Just like let her like I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna let you I'm gonna give you a couple hours or whatever. I'm gonna go out and hang out with my boys, whatever. By the time I get back, you'll be gone. That's what you can do. Why you gotta call the cops? It just seemed like to me that there was a lot of toxicity going on in that relationship, and you wasn't being 110% truthful. But at the end of the day, with all of this stuff, me trying to decipher what's going on and analyzing it or whatever, I just hope that you find what it is that you need to do. Hopefully, you get your itch together and before it's too late, because one thing we don't want to hear is another reality star we got to sit up here and give a RIP to. Because I like Ronnie at one point, but yeah, you've been moving you've been a hot mess as of late. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Ronnie's excuse as to why he came across the way he came across during press of the final season of Jersey Shore Family Vacation? So whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. Robert just reminded me, I watched a video by Pop Sam Cam about dance pop music and whether there will ever be another dance album as popular as Brat or Renaissance after the trend has faded. But over they talked about Madonna's Confessions. Because I think I saw that too. Not watched it, but I saw it like in the timeline. And you said specifically Confessions too, and whether it came too late given the underperformance of Demi Lovato and Harry Styles' dance output. Very informative video essay. Oh, I want to say that. I wonder if that's the same video. But yeah, Demi Lovato's album did underperform, even though those were good damn songs on it. But maybe it's too little, too late that they decided to jump on that bandwagon. I don't know if it's necessarily too little, too late for Madonna because Madonna's wheelhouse has always been dance music. I mean, she's dabbled in it. She comes from the clubs, so I don't know if that necessarily will affect her. I mean, in a way, because the new single with Sabrina is doing relatively well on the charts, and people are streaming it, people listening to it. So the song is a hit, but coming from somebody like Demi Lovato, where it's like, yeah, Demi Lovato really wasn't doing dance music. She was sort of like that pop girly. Because I remember when she performed I Really Don't Care. Oh, please, the children lost their shit. I mean, if you think about it, Confessions technically was her only full-fledged dance album, but Madonna has done dance music. She's dabbled in electronic music. She's incorporated in other songs. But if we want to talk about a full-fledged beginning, middle, end dance record, yes, it's Confessions, which she should have jumped. She should have jumped in it. But if we want to talk about like music from like her debut album and music that when she first came out with, that was like she was doing freestyles, so that's a form of dance music. The dance music from New York and the Bronx, like Puerto Ricans were doing that sound. They also I don't know if people think that the definition of dance is like like that's our version. There's so many different formations of dance, iterations of dance music. They also mentioned Future and Nostalgia, which I think the album has aged. Yeah, it kind of has, because to be honest, I'm not gonna hold you. I really don't listen to Dula Peep like that. Usually when her songs come on, I skip it. So I do kind of agree with you that Future Nostalgia hasn't aged well. I was excuse me. And he said they also call Control of Living Nation. He said which no. So maybe this person don't really know what they're talking about in regards of like dance music. Um, but yeah, Control and Rhythm Nation are not dance. It's more or less like the type of genre of music that Mars Day and the Time and Prince and it was doing. It's like funk music, and there's R&B and there's different iterations of music, but it's not dance. Like if you want to talk about Throb by Janet Jackson, that's a house record. Together Again is a dance record. Absolutely, and that's what we said. Like dance music isn't just house, because if you listen to um Ray of Light, it's dance music, but it's not house music. It's electronic music. It's that whole vibe. It's got trip hop. It's got acid house. It's got drum and bass. It's got all these different vibes on there. When you listen to Ray of Light, I mean, well, I did mention Ray of Light, right? Yeah, it's got all those different vibes on there. Confessions, more or less, it played into disco. and French house music. When you listen to Sorry, that's French house. So I just think people don't understand the genres. I'm laughing because I read this. Dua Liposuction's other album was that. Oh yeah, that album was a chop. Um, Mariah Carey left Gamma over the failure of failing to push Here for It All. Well, yeah, that album. Well, no shade, that album was a chop. Eurodance had Eurodance too. Yeah, that had, a lot of those elements in there. I think some of the Eurodance is like well, when you, I'm trying to think like what would be considered. Well, Eurodance would kind of be like La Bouche, Technotronic. Oh, pump the jam, pump it up. Wipe your feet off, stomp it. Like that's Eurodance. They did shout out Pink Panthers though for holding down electronic music for the new generation. Pink Panthers does like what I call her like what she does drum and bass. Like she kind of does like that whole MJ Cole vibe, even though she did collaborate with MJ Cole on a remix of her song. Well, I think she did was that song Still Sincere, and that was like one of his big hits. I used to listen to MJ Cole back in the day. Sometimes these DJs they be out of sight, out of mind. I be forgetting all about them. Well, yeah, yeah, you can call it that jungle music, which was like Ronnie Size and Represent. That's what I was listening to a lot of when I was coming up in the whole electronic scene. When I would listen to UK jungle music, it was always or drum and bass. I would listen to like Massive Attack, Tricky, um, who else? Goldie, because he had them gold teeth in his mouth. um, but yeah, a lot of that stuff. So I was like a big UK house head or dance music head. Sometimes I feel like in another life I was born in the UK. Lovatics admit Demi flop because of the controversies of the early decade, like frozen yogurt and her sugar-free dessert. That video showed me they don't know dance music, which is my favorite genre. I mean, the funny thing is like when I worked the concert, all the gays, oh, the superficial. I feel like the same gays that like Lady Gaga and all the superficial arrogance, they was the ones that showed up to these concerts. There's not a current main pop girlie that makes Euro dance besides that one Zara Larsson song. Charlie's Talk Talk could have been Euro dance if it went a little bit more bubbly. I want them to bring freestyle back. That's what I want. Bring that sound back. Oh, I love me some Portishead. And I heard Massive Attack signed a new. I think they signed a new deal with a different label or something or other. Because I don't know if they're releasing new music. The only they only know dance music of what they know and show me they never went to a club or a gay bar to understand the genre. I think it even goes beyond just going to a club or a bar. Well, it's because it's hard to explain because I literally subjected myself in the scene. It wasn't just oh I hear the sounds and it was whatever. Like I knew the DJs. I hung out with the bartenders. I really engulfed myself with the people that were involved in the scene. So that's what made me like become a true househead because I wanted to see how the sauce was made. So that's kind of like where I engulfed myself in that scene and being a raver and all that other stuff. Yeah, those sound like when I see that movie Go, I was like, yeah, that was me. Where I used to wear like those big old parachute pants and little tight shirts. And I used to have like a lot of the mousse in the hair and the glow sticks and all that other stuff. That was me in the 90s and the 2000s. Sidebar, I've come to the realization that most Gen Z pop girls are either inspired by Taylor, Ariana, or Lana. But it's like, what was it they were saying? Like, I think they was even talking about like some of the people at the Met Gala. Like, there was people in my comments saying like, yeah, none of y'all even are like really want to subject yourself into being creative and wanting to understand like how to get in the deep depths of yourself and come up with something creative. It's all surface level. So it's like what you're saying with this. They're inspired by what's on the surface, the Taylors, the Arianas, and the Lanas, and y'all don't come up and try to be your own little individual self. Someone even said, "Can someone get me a proper speaker system so I can imagine I feel so free at a gay bar getting my back. Well, they should play it let them play it at the Red Rooster. Can they imagine here? I feel so free while you getting bread in a dark room. Lana is very influential. I feel like she doesn't get her flowers from the Academy because they hate taboo topics. Yeah, they want surface level broads. I live for Bjork. I remember I saw the music video. What made me fall in love with Bjork? I think it was I saw the Possibly Maybe video. And the minute I heard that song, I'm like, wait, what the fuck is this? That got me caught up in that. And then I saw the All Is Little Full of Love video, the one that was a remix. And Chris Cunningham directed it. I remember seeing that video. I was like, wait a minute, who is this lady? She is on a whole nother planet. And that made me like literally go down to the Virgin Mega store and I started buying up all her albums. I started buying up the import, well, obviously on import. And I started buying up a lot of the maxi singles because I wanted that version of All Is Full of Love and it's not on the original album. So I had to buy like the CD that had it had the music video cover of her as a robot. I remember like it was yesterday. It was like white and it had the little snap thing on it. So you snap it open, and then it has like the little cardboard situation with the music video cover on it. And then it had the CD. It was silver, like the regular disc where I look. And then I remember it had like the remix on there, and then it also had the music video. So I had to go buy that version. It says Zara and Swedish, they do produce the best dance acts. Ace of Base, Icona Pop, Tovlo, Zara Larson, and Robin. hmm Although Zara's music can be a little cheesy at times. Yes, we do love ABBA. Give me a man like. There was some movie I was watching the other day that played ABBA at the end as the credits was rolling. They understand dance pop, not the club music side of the genre. Vespertine and Homogenic were a cultural reset. I wonder if she planned on going on tour because I definitely need to see her. Medulla's well, I like the whole thing about the why she used the hair and stuff to write like the wording of the album and actually her using like noises from people's mouths and things as a way to make beats. So that's what actually made me because I think Matmos directed that. I mean, produced it. So I like how she kind of went and did something original and different and creative and fun with that record. Oh, excuse me. All right. Now let's speak about some ladies that are the opposite of what we just talked about. Let's talk about the Pussycat Dolls. So, they are the latest group well, I should say they're the latest victims of something called Blue Dot Fever, which I had no idea what the hell Blue Dot Fever was. So you learn something new every day. But like they said, this is actually a new thing that they just conjured up. So for those who don't know what Blue Dot Fever is, it literally is a new term of tours canceled due to low demand. So after it was stated, well, they said blue dot fever is basically it's been spreading a lot of people regarding a lot of summer tours and stuff going on. It's this thing where if you go and try to buy tickets online and you see how the seating is, you see a lot of blue dots. That's literally what blue dot fever is. I was like, I never even heard of that, but I do know if you go on Ticketmaster, you buy tickets, you see all the little blue dots. That's like the available seats or basically the seats that these artists ain't selling. And quiet as it's kept, we kind of all and I felt it in my gut. I was like, damn, they ain't not gonna sell these tickets. But I always try to be optimistic. I was like, well, maybe I was being selfish because I was like, you know what, in a way, even if they don't, they're not gonna do all that well. Maybe they'll come up with some miracle and just bring the tickets down so cheap that they'll fill it up. And I'll be able to get to see a Pussycat Doll show live for once. But the reality is, if people don't want to come and see you, even if you make the tickets $30 or $20 or God forbid $10, then you do got to cancel it because it goes to show that America don't care about the Pussycat Dolls. But also, the reality should have been that sis. It's the three of y'all. Nicole thought she could just sell it off of her alone and just having these other girls in the background. But then um I felt like y'all were overly ambitious with doing an arena. Like I said previously, you should have pulled the Danity Kane, even though they didn't even have all the girls of Danity Kane in the group. They at least was smart enough to do smaller venues. So they did Webster Hall. For example, I'm in New York, so they did Webster Hall, which is a smaller venue in Manhattan. That's what y'all should have did. A couple of small dates and a couple of small venues. Get some feelers out there. See if people. One Robert friend of the show said you should have did what Hillary Duff did. Hillary Duff went and started doing little small shows here and there. And when she realized there was a demand to want to see her live, then she transitioned to doing arena shows. She got 2 sold out nights at Madison Square Garden. So that's what you should have did. Because to be honest, or as I say ad nauseum, quiet as it's kept, um, Pussycat Dolls have never headlined a show in the United States before. They've always been an opening act for somebody. One of my coworkers told me that the first show they ever saw Pussycat Dolls, they were the opening act. Oh, speaking of Danny Kane, along with Danny Kane, for Christina Aguilera during the Back to Basics tour. So you should have started out small and then built yourselves up. But I don't know if your team set you up for failure or your ego's so damn big you ain't realized that America ain't like the overseas in Europe and stuff. Europe, they'll show up to an envelope opening because they don't get a lot of opportunities like in America. We tend to be spoiled with a lot of our entertainment because we are the entertainment hub. But everybody can't sell out no damn arena. Not everybody can have bragging rights and say, "Oh my God, I can," because they do it every time they come. I know I work them. Uh, oh, I can't believe I sold out Madison Square Garden. Oh my God. I hear it every time somebody get on that say it is so annoying. But I get it. I appreciate the fact that you were able to accomplish an undeniable feat or whatever. You sold out MSG. Not everybody can do that. So the 90s Act has pulled the plug on their reunion tour the same day as they reported that Post Malone, Zayn Malik, and Megan Trainor have either paused or called off their tours altogether or cut down some of the tours and then they'll do other shows. But Megan cut hers altogether because, like I said before, Megan Trainor, I don't know who her demographic is. Who is she making her music for? Who is this tour for? And who is she expecting to show up at this tour? So when Megan is going through an identity crisis, but she don't know who the hell she is as an artist, then you're not gonna have nobody show up at your event. And she's another one that probably was suffering from blue dot fever. And then how the hell is Post Malone funky looking ass? Because he looked like he ain't never washed since he decided to go from rap the country. How you out here trying to go on another stadium tour after you just did one last year? I believe he did one last year because I worked his stadium tour when he stopped by Citi Field with Jelly Roll. They both were there. And the whole night he was running around on that stage a hot mess with his little red cup, like he's fucking Kim Zolciak with the red solo cup, doing his songs and similar to Jelly Roll, rambling on, talking about a bunch of damn nothing. Well, Jelly Roll was up there acting like he was a damn pastor. Every time between song, he wanted to sit and just run off in the mouth, which was annoying a lot of the staff there because they're like, "Would you shut the fuck up and just say we don't want to be here all night with you running off with the mouth?" So now on Monday, it was reported, a Music Insider said, seems that Post Malone came down with a serious case of blue dot fever, referring to those blue dots indicating available seats on a Ticketmaster seating chart, and it's contagious. However, Malone, Trainer, and Malik also all blamed other reasons that blue dot fever for their canceled shows, from the need to make new music to family life and health issues. And here's the thing. So you didn't think that you need to, there was a, first of all, when you're an artist, they come up with a whole schedule situation. From this time to this time, you need to be working on your album. The tour is going to be coming up around this time. So how do you, oh, I ain't finished the album yet. So now I got to postpone a couple of days because you was probably dicking around or whatever the case is, or like they were saying, like the tickets wasn't selling out because I told you when I worked that last show between him and Jelly Roll, I mean, it's all right. Nothing to brag home about. They did definitely sell out the stadiums, but why are we going on another stadium tour? Times is hard right now, and a lot of the supporters or people that listen to Jelly Roll and Post Malone, some, not I mean, a lot, not all, are supporters of who, that president. And they hurting in their pockets right now. They're being heavily affected by, they're in their pockets and stuff. A lot of these red state people like that type of music. So Pussycat Dolls, Kimberly Wyatt, Nicole Scherzinger, and Ashley Roberts were leading the comeback tour, but they posted Monday, "We hope to bring this show to fans across the world. After taking an honest look at the North American run, we made the difficult and heartbreaking decision to cancel all but one of the North American dates," which of course is a Pride event in West Hollywood. So, of course, the gays will take anything that's pretty, got a nice long luxurious weave and half naked, and you know, they purring and shit. The gays, the superficial gays will show up to that. So they already know, like, with them being a part of a festival, they're pretty good. But outside of that, they're not gonna be able to sell tickets anywhere else. The gays, yeah, you can support, you can be enough, but not enough. Meaning that there could be enough of y'all that show up to see the performances, but not, and I guess in a way because it's a part of a festival, if they're up there performing and people want to go and get a drink or go to the bathroom and get some food or whatever the case is, then that's not a bad thing necessarily. It's like, look, they'll show up and watch Erica Jane sit up there whipping her wig back and forth. So you don't really need to cancel something like that. So they said this is just the latest Live Nation tour to call it quits after Trainer and Malik axed their outings and Malone canceled some dates. Now, the source previously told Blue Dot Fever, or said Blue Dot Fever is going around because everybody's high on their own supply. Well, Biggie told you never get high on your own supply, right? Will the artist finally push back? It's hurting some fans, or hurting the fans. The question for Post Malone is, why is he doing another stadium tour? Post Malone will probably need to cancel a bunch more dates. Guess what? Nobody bought tickets. Everything is priced so high. It's all a bad situation. So I think a lot of it has to do with that. That was another thing, is that the Pussycat Dolls were out here charging Beyonce, Lady Gaga, and Madonna as prices. Like, you're charging people $700 to $1,000 a ticket. Um, y'all ain't worth that kind of coin, and it's no shade, but y'all not. And there's no way in hell I'm paying that kind of money to see y'all doing Buttons, Stick With You, and fucking React, and that new damn song that nobody remembers because I don't even remember the name of it. But how you going to sit up in here and charge that kind of money? It's like, no. What needs to happen is there needs to be a real honest conversation had with Ticketmaster and Live Nation in regards of stop price gouging people to go see a concert. Things is getting expensive. It's going to affect the live entertainment industry. It is going to affect me because I work in the live entertainment industry. So we need to figure out what's going to go on with this whole situation. And there's still shows and stuff that's happening. It's just that these big, high profile shows that require a lot of pomp and circumstance, which a Pussycat Dolls type of show will do or needs, they're not going to sell. And plus, their demographic skewers a bit older, especially when we saw the lineup. They have Little Kim and M.I.A as their opening act. So it's not a multi-generational thing where you can have younger people come in and want to see you. Like if you had like maybe a Tate McRae or maybe even, somebody like that open up for you or be a part of the tour, that would bring more people in. Or maybe Pussycat Dolls would have worked better as like part of Jingle Ball or something. Maybe to get back in people's good graces. You gotta work yourselves up to getting in the trust of the people to want to see you. So in America, if y'all really want to come out here and tour and not have that ego like Miss Jennifer Lopez, who suffered, well, probably was the first one to suffer from the blue dot virus or whatever the hell they blue dot fever. Remember, she had to cancel all of her American dates, but stay with the overseas ones. You gotta really take the time to humble yourself, and like I said, do a Kylie Minogue. You can do your little arena shows and your stadium shows over in Europe and beyond. When you come to America, you're gonna have to humble yourself enough to scale it down, do smaller venues. You can still give a full pomp and circumstance type show with fierce costumes, choreography, pyro, all the works in a smaller venue. Scale it down, Todrick Hall, and get one of those. And then when you've worked your ass off because you feel like you at a certain point in your career, y'all ain't gotta work hard no more. No, you gotta prove yourself every time you come out with a new album. You can't just take your fans for granted. So you need to come in, do that, work the smaller venues, and when you've gotten in the good grades, oh yeah, they was fierce. They're gonna be like, Melody who? Um, and the other one, what's her name? Carmi. Who? Me, I don't know her. First of all, these girls ate. Now, when you get up there and you prove that y'all could do bad without them other members of the group, then maybe you'll be able to graduate from doing Hammerstein or the Brooklyn Paramount to Radio City, and then graduate to from Radio City to the Infosys Theater at Madison Square Garden, where that housed like 5,000 people, and then you can graduate to the Garden and take it from there and beyond. So that's all I gotta say on that. But I was like, what is that? Blue dot fever. I said you learn something new every day, yeah. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of this blue dot fever thing that's plaguing a lot of the music industry? And who do y'all think is going to be the next to fall in line regarding this whole situation? So whatever your thoughts are, these mid artists out here trying to jump into the whole um arena tour situation when they need to stick to the smaller rivers and lakes that they used to, or will guarantee them, a little money in their pocket. So whatever your thoughts on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. The County Fair tour. Hold on, because I gotta scroll on up. There's a lot of comments in here. Um, Volta is underrated, but I was just thinking about that. Isn't that what Earth Intruders is on that? But I think people hate that album because of the that Timbaland produced it. I forgot about that Timbaland produced a Bjork album. I hate it. I like some of the music on there. Now you're gonna have me revisit it. She blacklisted by the Grammys because of one bad SNL performance, and she never went back to SNL to dawn a redemption story. Once that happens, we'll give her a Grammy. Well, didn't Ashley Simpson go back and rebuild, rework her whole situation after that embarrassing situation happened at SNL? She went and look. She ended up winning the Masked Singer. It's where she's comfortable with just a venue small enough for her fans. Well, look, some people like being comfortable enough to doing the smaller venues, and that's fine. Everybody say it's bullshit to punish Lana because of one bad performance. Yeah, but and you know what they did? Like I said, they did that back in the day with Ashley Simpson. It was like, yeah, don't punish somebody if they're gonna go. Look, I prefer somebody who has one bad performance and will go and work on their craft so that way they could not make sure that to make sure that doesn't happen again. What makes me sad? Not these chop hoes cancel a show no one cared about. It makes me sad that SZA is the only black female pop act in the 2020s besides Beyonce, because the industry only wants one representation, one black girl representing a whole conglomerate of girls. Racism is always playing a role in this industry. I read one show of PCD sold 162 tickets. Goddamn. That's really bad. That's like, damn, you couldn't even sell out the Infosys Theater. That's how, like I said, that's a smaller venue at the Garden. 162 tickets. That's embarrassing. I'm like, damn, girl, you might as well just do the county fair at this point. Nikki could have been, but she showed her ass. She could have been I was gonna say she could have did the what's his name? The Kid Cudi tour, but she ain't trying to be an open act for nobody. I like Olivia Dean. You said Nick Cole thought it's only me. We'll be fine. And they showed her, no, we want Carmit and Jessica. Melody, because they was mentioning her too. I read there was an idea of Danity Kane and PCD, but Dawn said no. Well, Dawn, girl, I need you to come back to Danity Kane. I mean, I love you over there with the solo stuff, but I was interviewed and I said the reality is the goalpost was moved to stadiums. Stadiums is the arena, and arenas is the theater, and the small theater is looking like clubs. The goal, well, they're so dumb to think about that because arenas. I know it's like when people said Lady Gaga should have did arenas. I mean, she should have did stadiums for the Mayhem tour. Why is she doing arenas? I'm like, first of all, what she's planning, like when you listen to the album and stuff and seeing the Coachella performance, I was like, no, that's made for a theater or made for an arena. And yeah, arenas fit 20,000 people, but still, um, it's good to do arenas because it's more intimate. It's not hot. You get a air conditioner and all that other stuff. Live entertainment industry doing Radio City looks like I didn't make it. I'm supposed to be doing stadiums, not be a niche artist. Well, I don't know because like I said, Madison Square Garden because of our reputation, people love when they perform there. They feel like they made it. Whereas if you do a stadium, you could barely see what's going on. You said about Post Malone, nobody's getting tickets because his MAGA background. They want Jelly Roll fired. Well, County Fair tour, graduate to the House of Blues. I don't know if she'll ever do a stadium tour, and I can admit that as a baby critter. Did she, not a baby, not you using the phrase. Did she do a stadium tour? I sworn that the Chromatica era was a stadium tour, especially when they filmed it for TV. Did she do a stadium for that? Yeah, that's what I said. Chromatica Ball was a stadium tour because I remember watching that on HBO. It was outdoors. I also heard from coworkers of mine that they said the first time they saw her on tour, that might have been it. That might have been a Chromatica tour. They said they saw her perform live because they was asking because when she was coming to the garden, that I had coworkers um not again, chair. um but you gotta clarify things in these in this in the chat. Um but yeah, so one of my there might have been during the Chromatica tour because that's not when I wasn't doing that then. I wasn't working in live. Well, I was working in live entertainment, but just not for MSG and all other stuff. So he told me, it was like, yeah, I saw her when she came here to City Field. So I guess City Field was one of the stops. It was about how good she was, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So I think that was like, yeah. But yeah, there's a sense of intimacy when you do an arena tour. It's like, yeah, even though it does feel like they're far away. You're not that it's still a lot of people in there. It feels way more intimate than a stadium. And the stadium is like, yeah, you can fit double the people. You can fit 40,000 in there. Anyway, speaking of people, I hope is smart enough not to do an arena tour because girl, you ain't there yet. Even though you've been in the industry for a long time. Let's talk about Bebe Rexha, who finally got her some big old hits on the dance charts since going independent, which I didn't even know that she went independent. Apparently, she was over there at Warner. Warner gave her the chop. I guess she was feeling devastated, but she got two new dance tracks on the Billboard dance charts. And funny enough, I didn't start listening to two of her songs, and I'll mention them in a second. But I didn't really listen to her music because I was kind of like, I'm not really feeling BB. Like BB gives me like higher teas with a lot of her music. So I wasn't really listening to her like that. And then when people was telling me, oh yeah, that she got these two dance records, and I know she's dabbled in dance music before, but a lot of her stuff I always kind of felt was a little on the cheesy, like that blues song she did with David Guetta. I'm like, really? From that like that cheesy ass Euro dance track that was so corny to me. So I wasn't really taking it seriously because I'm like I'm in a place where I want that serious, fun, really down on the trend. Like y'all know y'all shit when it comes to the dance music. So Bebe Rexha is celebrating a new number one song on the Billboard dance charts, an achievement that's especially meaningful after going independent earlier this year. Now, on Instagram, Tuesday, May 5th, Rexha announced that her single New Religion had topped the Billboard dance slash airplay and US dance radio charts, saying, "First, I want to say to the fans, this isn't just my win, this is our win." Now, as Rexha explained, this achievement meant more to me than any other accolade I've ever received because I'm doing this on my own terms. Going independent was so scary. I honestly thought it was over for me. I know that sounds dramatic, but the last 7 years were a battle that I was suffering in, and I was suffering in silence. Well, she is a Virgo. Remember, she said, "I'm BB, I'm a Virgo" on that Kylie Minogue song. So yeah, we like to suffer in silence. We don't like to tell people when we got shit going on. But the smartest thing I would say for her was to go independent because I don't know what they were trying to mold this girl into. And I've always kind of felt like looking at BB Rexa, she had sort of like this identity crisis going for her in regards of her style of music and what type of pop song she was putting out there. So I don't really feel like there was I couldn't pinpoint exactly who she was or what she was trying to say in the music she was doing. And going independent, this might be the smartest thing you've ever done because you already accumulated, excuse me, you already accumulated a fan base. So you really don't need a label to support you or to put your music out there. You put out you make music, you put it out there and hope for the best. And so yeah, how I finally got around to hearing these songs, I think it was like something on Apple Music where they have like new music release day where it's like they have like a, a little list of new music that comes out. So I was like, let me just press play and it plays, and now it does like the mixing thing on Apple Music now. So I listened to that, and then they have this playlist that I listen to called Strike a Pose, which of course is like all the dance pop music that like is more, I guess, leans towards the homosexuals that listen to music online or whatever in your musical taste. So it was playing all that song. That's how I heard her two songs. Well, this is Phoebe Rex. I was like, okay, I'm feeling what she's putting out now. So Rex enjoyed a string of successful pop EDM hits and collaborations in the mid 2010s, but in January she revealed that her longtime label, Warner Music, had decided to part ways with her. Her Instagram post today included a tearful video, excuse me, recorded earlier this year, in which she reacted to the devastating news and expressed uncertainty about what was next. But it's always scary when you don't know where things are going to end up. But you always come out great on the other side. Look at Ava Max. It's like she went independent. She went out of her contract because they wasn't doing her right over where she was at. And now she's doing things on her own terms because she has a sense of who she is and what she wants to do with her music career. Whereas a lot of times you have labels that don't know what the hell they want to do with the artists that they sign. Now, after parting ways with Warner, Rexha signed a deal with Empire, an independent distribution company that also offers some label and publishing services. In March, she released New Religion, her first single as an independent artist, while also announcing a new album, Dirty Blonde, coming out on June 12th. Now, along with now topping those dance charts, New Religion has cracked the top 40 on several other charts, including digital song sales, pop airplay, and hot dance pop songs. Saying, "Now I'm free and I'm surrounded by people who celebrate and uplift me." This is what she wrote on Instagram. "Thank you at Empire for being my backbone. This feels like a rebirth. And the sick thing is, we're just getting started." So I always want to root for the underdog. I know some people will feel away like, well, yo, I ain't this and whatever. But I'd rather somebody who has a sense of self and is frustrated with the label and decides, you know what, part ways, I'm going to sign with a label, a small label like Empire that offers some of the same little expertise. Excuse me, it's just that I have to go in and I have to do a little more work and really push out like, okay, this is the song we need to put out here. I'm going to work on this album. This is the direction I want to go into. And you have the people that really, truly, and genuinely support what it is that you're doing. And it seems like so far she's on the right track because clearly by the response of the songs, y'all are liking what she's doing. So I understand it took a long time for her to get here, but everything happens for a reason. And these days, like I said, y'all don't really need a label, quiet as it's kept, to really get y'all out here and have people listening to y'all music. If you ever send something with your, all you need is a little, I mean, if you got like a distribution group, that can help push her stuff out. It's like, look at Kylie Minogue. Speaking of which, have y'all seen her the trailer for her new Netflix docu series? I'm looking forward to that. But Kylie Minogue was like, y'all started trying to count her out in so many ways. She went and did a distribution deal with BMG. And look at her with the success of Padam Padam. She had her first arena tour in the United States and all the success that came and the residency and all those other things. It's like you have a sense of self. You already have a built-in fan base, and they'll follow you wherever follow me wherever we may go. It's like that's literally what happens. If you have a sense of self, you know what it is you need to do as an artist. Once you put it out there, you take that risk, the reward will come soon after. So, congratulations, Miss Rexha. I don't know what's gonna happen with your fellow what is she, Armenian? Your fellow Armenian, Miss Dula Pete. Because what's going on with her career? So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Bebe Rexha and all this good stuff? With the fact that she got even though she's had a couple of EDM hits and stuff in the past, this is like genuinely her putting something out there on her own terms and seeing reaping the rewards of that success because of something that she worked hard on and without the pushback or interference of a major label who always feels like they know best. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Who knows? We'll have to see. But I have to say, so far, I'm not like I don't like that new single that she put out. Notice how BB, Ava, Lizzo, and Rita Ora, the Kaya Asylum, are all known for their heavy sampling. Yeah, that's what it was. So was that they was out here doing all this sampling and stuff with music, and it's like I need y'all to move beyond that. Like, who are you outside of this whole sampling situation? Because I wasn't liking a lot of those heavily sampled songs. Ava isn't on a major independent label like Empire or BMG. It's self-released music. Like Kesha is self-released. I get the new music always added to my library by opting in to get every release. She's the first artist to ever sample the iconic dance track Insomnia by Faithless. Yeah, and see now the funny thing is now I'm thinking about it. Um, New Religion has a sample. I didn't even think about that. I was like, well, wait a minute. New Religion features a sample from Faithless. I'm like, damn. So have we got another damn song where you're using another damn sample? Because I remember I was another one that was a fan of Faithless. You know, Dido's brother was in that group, Rollo. You said I need an American man in my Armenian man in my life, child. Still Akaya, who had the audacity to sample whenever, wherever, and Barbie Girl only to look the fool. Well, child, you know who also sampled Barbie Girl and looked the fool? Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj. Because like y'all heavily use that sample in the song is like a minute and a half long. I'm like, what is this mess? The other day they played that song at the gym, which I get. I'm like, really? This is what y'all playing in the gym? But anyway, um, oh Jesus Christ. This whole coughing is gonna be the death of me. But anyway, I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Kris Avalon Unfiltered. Hit that like button, that subscribe, also smash the notification bell. I'll be on later this week. Tomorrow, like I said, I'm doing the Knicks game. Thursday, I'm gonna be busy with some work stuff. So I'm gonna try to see if I can squeeze in a Friday show. If not, I will squeeze in one this weekend. So yeah, I'll be on the lookout. There will be another show this week. So love you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support. And until next time, ciao, darlings.